Live. Hello and welcome. I am here to complain about 5e some more because I haven't done nearly enough streams about that yet.
Oh.
I am here with mithrildiggy, the guy who drew my rig.
Yo, what up?
And a Pathfinder advocate who knows a little bit about 5e, but doesn't quite comprehend everything about it like I do.
So...
And welcome and good morning, Sheriff Dance, Magpie0928, Russian Bro, Salad VTuber, Cool Boy Mew, and other LOL player.
Let me preface that I stepped in to give people a rough time frame of where I came into 5e was when Adventure League was hitting like Tomb of Annihilation. And I hate Adventures League. It sucks.
I have never done anything with Adventurers League, so I have to explain what that actually means to me.
Oh boy. Let me tell you how much I hate this shit. This is a system made for cons. It's made for cons and for quick drop in and drop out gameplay, which is already against the fundamentals of like what a D&D party should be, right? But
I know that's what they did a lot of in 2nd edition, and it was fine. It goes against Wizards of the Coast D&D.
I don't know. I just don't like the idea of breaking up parties in the middle of missions. It just doesn't make narrative sense.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense either.
Yeah.
Aside from maybe keeling over or whatever.
Yeah, keeling over, that's a different story. But this is just in general. Like, in the middle of an important mission, you can just swap people out and they suddenly permeate. And, you can't keep the relics or any interesting loot you find. Everything is just diluted into a gold pool at the end of a campaign that you carry on to another one, and you're not allowed to keep anything unique. Nothing. And on top of that, you are always bled down to a set XP rate. Even if you solve a problem with flying colors, or there's no consideration for being really good at a roleplay scene where DMs can normally give you bonuses and shit. No, there's none of that.
Well, I mean that's pretty fitting for 5th edition since it's a combat simulator that pretends it's more than that.
Oh, I hate Adventures League so much. There's so much more to it. How long were you
doing this stuff then? You said about a year?
Oh, yeah. Let me think. Actually, I think it was about 14 months before I up and quit. Because
okay.
I played, what is it? Court of the Dragon Queen. Was it Rise of Tiamat?
Yes, Rise of Tiamat is the exact follow-up from that, which, oh man, do I have words about those adventures. Also, good morning, the Ethos.
I played a little bit of Curse of Strahd. I'm very angry that I can't find anybody to actually finish that campaign with, because it's the only one I really want to play. I really want to play Curse of Strahd, and I refuse to read it to spoil it for myself.
Alright.
And, I played, what's the one about Demon Princes?
Princes of the Apocalypse, or Out of the Abyss. Both of those have Demon Princes.
The Abyss. Out of the Abyss is the one I played.
Okay.
And that's roughly around where I stopped. Hit you up, Sheriff? Yeah. Sheriff, if you want to DM Curse of Strahd, I'm down.
Hey, I'll be down for that too. I've got builds that'll be balanced for Curse of Strahd.
I have a particular character that I want to play for Curse of Strahd that was like, it started as a joke because the way I like to get interested in characters is I like to make like footnote like small phrases and then expand them into something bigger. And I stopped and I thought, because at my first Strahd table I'm like, I don't want to be terribly typical. I want to throw my DM off, and then I just in my head I wrote Van Halfling, and I'm like, oh okay. And then I put a fucking Halfling Ranger, and I was actually the best player in the party.
Ooh, Jones, please resist your best builds. My best builds are too powerful for you, stranger. You can't handle my strongest builds.
I'm going into battle, and I need your strongest potion.
My strongest builds are not fit for a dragon, let alone a man. But yeah, speaking of which, oh man, Rise of Tiamat, that is a fun one. Because Tiamat, you're supposed to like face her at like level 16 and do a bunch of stuff to power her down and have like a full party.
Yeah.
You can just solo her as a level 11, 2 levels of fighter, 9 levels of wizard in one round.
Big shocker, you throw wizard in the mix and you're strong.
I mean, yeah, but it's only 9 levels of wizard to kill a god at full power.
I'm still not shocked. I'm surprised it doesn't take fewer.
Well, no, the thing is, 5th edition is the one, it's the Wizards of the Coast game that actually has the closest power levels between the fighter types and the caster types, because the fighter types are, like, they aren't a net negative for the party, aside from monks, until, like, level 11 or so. That's really good.
I actually haven't read into monks too much in 5th edition.
Oh my god. Monks? Okay. So, you know how you like to have classes that do stuff and are capable of doing things?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's not monk.
Oh, they're just not allowed to have things?
Okay, so if a monk is blowing all of their resources to deal as much damage as possible, they are almost, not quite, but getting close to keeping up with a rogue who's just making 1 attack per round with a rapier.
Yay!
If it's a rogue who's, you know, an arcane trickster and therefore has resources and can boost their stuff anymore, it just blows them out of the water.
Aren't monks notoriously just meant to be like status jackpots? Can they not do that in 5th edition?
They get one thing in 5th edition that's pretty strong called Stunning Strike.
As I would assume.
Where they have to hit, and then the thing has to fail a con save, and they can attempt it 4 times per round by using up all of their resources in 1 round.
Imagine not being able to do damage, and then the only thing that your class has over everybody else is an immediate access to a stun that still requires a gate to maybe happen.
2 gates. You need to beat their AC and their con save, which is the strongest save in the game on average.
I've always said that people should make Stunning Strike a touch attack.
I mean, I don't have those in 5th edition, so it's no good.
I know.
Which is another great thing about 5th edition. Did you know that you don't actually lose your dexterity bonus to AC if you're unconscious and can't move?
What the fuck?
So if you're like an elf with 20 with 20 dexterity, you'll have an AC of 15. So to make you easier to hit, they can put you in ring mail. And there's no auto hits against unconscious targets. So if they're dealing with like some insanely high dexterity opponent, one of the best things you can do when they're unconscious is just force them into armor so that they become easier to damage. 5th edition!
Are you going to tell them about the resurrection thing that you were talking to me about?
Oh, right, I will. As soon as I answer Sepphoris' VT's question. Good morning. It went pretty well. I got Arthur to the gutter, and he rage quit out of pain, which was pretty much my goal. But, oh man. So here's another fun thing about 5th edition that I found very recently. All resurrection spells except Wish do not work by the rules as written. Like, for real, they do not work. The rules as written, you cannot resurrect things. Every single resurrection spell, from Revivify to Resurrection to Raise Dead, All target a creature that has died recently. Corpses are objects, not creatures. This is explicitly spelled out. They would need to target an object rather than a creature for any of the resurrection spells to work as rules as written.
Wait a minute. I just realized, does D&D have a gentle repose spell?
Yes, it does.
Okay, good. Alright, thank good. Thank God, I mean, Jesus.
Yes, you can keep your guy gentle reposed all the way up until you hit 17th level and can wish him back, because that's the only way to get him back by Raw.
At least, just, can you filter XP into a dead creature? What's the rules as written on XP?
Oh, God, I haven't even considered looking at that stuff. I mean, most of 5th edition doesn't even do, like, XP per encounter anymore. Like, it's there, but it says, yeah, just do milestone leveling for almost every adventure.
I see.
So, I guess that's probably one of the many things that comes down to GM's call. Oh, actually, speaking of spells that don't work as written, there's a particularly fun ranger spell that's terrible and useless and should never be picked, but I love it, all the same.
Is it Hunter's Mark?
No, Conjure Barrage. You know, the fireball except bad.
What the fuck is Conjure Barrage?
It does, like, God, 4d6 instead of 8d6 damage in a cone instead of a sphere. So it's just bad fireball. But
why would I ever want to use a cone as a ranger?
Right? But it does have one hilarious oversight in it. Well, two of them.
What?
The material component is a throwable weapon or a piece of ammunition. And the damage that it deals is the same as whatever you're throwing or using as ammunition.
That's a big, big no-no.
And I mean, that's a cool thing. It means you're like throwing a dagger, turning into a bajillion daggers, and going all freaking Dio Brando on someone. That's awesome.
Okay, cool. But now what about the Alchemist Fires? Or,
that would actually apply fire damage, holy water do radiant damage, and that's pretty neat. But nets are a valid material component for this.
Are they considered? Is there scaling damage based on size of projectile, or?
No. Nets don't deal damage. And don't have a damage type.
Well.
So you have... according to the rules, every single attack must have a damage type, so you're dealing typeless damage with a net? It's just... oh, man.
So technically they can't have a resistance to it.
They technically can't have a resistance to it, or a vulnerability to it, not that vulnerabilities are a thing in 5th edition.
That still blows my fucking mind that I can beat a skeleton with a mace, no offense, and it doesn't absolutely just crumble.
Actually, skeletons are like 5 of the 11 things that have a specific weakness.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, they have weakness to bludgeoning. And everything else doesn't really have weaknesses at all. There's none.
Well, I don't think 5th edition players want to deal with what Pathfinder players have to deal with. What is it? Does this have spell resistance? Does this have 3 elemental resistances? Does this have immunity to emotional and mind control effects? All at the same fucking time?
That is such a bunch of booking. Ooh, yes, Egos brings up another fun part about 5th edition, poison damage.
Poison, everything from 3.5 up to 5th edition, and in fucking Pathfinder, poison is not useful unless you force it to be useful. You have to build for it. And in 5th edition, I don't think poison can really do much.
Alright, so in 5th edition, poison is the single most referenced any sort of elemental damage against the resistance, weakness, immunity stat block. And it is referenced almost exclusively as immunity.
Big shocker.
There are things that do resist it, though. Dwarves. Enemy dwarves. And
I'm pretty sure... Don't we have a racial bonus against that in 5e?
Yeah, you do. Everything else is just straight immune to it. So it's completely fucking useless. What's even better is that there are 2 different feats that allow you to overcome damage reduction from poison. There's That's only good against dwarves. Everything else is just flat out immune, which you can't do anything against. There's 2 feats, 2 of them, to try to make poison good, and they didn't fix the issue with it, so it still sucks.
Which, you know, if you want to go into an Underdark campaign, just take those feats.
Yeah, just piss off all the dwarves, it'll be fine.
Yup.
Yes, you can, Russian bro. Feel free. I don't have any particular direction for the stream to wander in. I'm just going to complain about stupid shit that I found in 5th edition.
I can't wait to hear that fucking...
oh, the Tarrasque.
The HP... Yeah, the Tarrasque.
Yes. Oh, man. Alright, Russian bro has a fun fact for us. Let's hear it. Come on, Russian bro. Type faster! Hurry!
Type faster!
Or it's too late! No being in the positive energy plane can explode with too much life and its endurance save. Okay.
That actually...
Undead.
Oh, okay.
Auto pass endurance saves. That's a 3 point. Endurance saves aren't a thing in 5th edition. There are con saves, though. But I don't think they auto pass con saves. I think I might be mixing up 3.5 with 5th.
Yeah, in 3.5 and in Pathfinder, Constitution-based saves are automatically passed because you don't technically have Constitution.
Yeah, Constitution saves can be failed by most Undead in 5th edition, which is particularly hilarious because then you can just technically just poison a zombie to death.
Which is funny that I don't know how that fucking works, but
man, don't worry about it.
So there's actually a player that's frequently at my Wednesday table, and he made a channeling build for a cleric that has untyped alignment, and he can pump so much healing into one creature that they basically numerically detonate.
Huh. For Pathfinder?
For Pathfinder, yeah.
I see. Oh, also, good morning, Goblin Man, the Oaken Taker, and the Geek Ghost. Yeah, that's my issue with Pathfinder. There's just a bunch of bookkeeping that I don't really think necessarily benefits table experience, but whatever.
I adore Pathfinder, but it's not an accessible title.
No.
It's just not. Hello, would you like to read 130 books, not including magazines full of shit you might miss?
Right?
Come on. And I mean a literal count of 130 plus books. This is not an exaggeration.
I know how bad the 3.5 Splat books got.
And they're still making more! Because Pathfinder 2 ain't doing hot.
Oh boy.
So they're leaning back on their baby to stay afloat, obviously.
Also, good morning, Hazmat VT.
And if you saw some of the ridiculous, stupid fucking stat blocks before you even hit level 10, make your head spin a little bit.
Oh, yeah, no, I've seen some Pathfinder sheets once. I tried playing Pathfinder 1 First Edition, and I was just like, wow, it's like 3.5, in that I don't want to care about most of this stuff, and it's all badly named. Ranged Touch Attack is still the worst fucking name out there.
Yeah, the various attack and armored systems are so fucking just bulky, needlessly bulky.
Mm-hmm.
And, but I did make a build on complete accident, just thumbing through things that you might find very amusing. So, I made an Inquisitor, and the thing with Inquisitors in Pathfinder is that they passively have scaling Sense Motive and Intimidate.
Alright.
And I'm very, very fucking good at Intimidate, because I can take something called an Inquisition. And what an Inquisition does is it gives you a unique power in place of taking a domain spell with your chosen god. Mine converts my Intimidation check over to my Wisdom.
Ooh,
so I don't have to be mad in order to make this work. And
that is pretty good.
And not only am I using this as a means of scaring the ever-loving fuck out of everybody,
I'm also use it to spot trapdoors good, because Wisdom is that for some reason, and also spellcasting.
And I can sense motive, and I can assess, enemy movements and weaknesses. But that's not where it ends. I took a what's it called? A trait. One of my traits is called Ifrit's Eye, which means in the middle of battle, when an intimidate check, like trying to move beyond just intimidate, when you're trying to force people into fear or to like you, it would take a minute. So that would take 10 rounds in combat. I can use a take 10 action without being interrupted or whatever. Nobody can stop me from making an intimidate check to make it worse. But even better, I have an array of feats that make it so I can put out an intimidate check as a move action, as an action, and as a swift action. And an amulet of blistering invective, which is a spell in my class that makes my intimidate go in a 20-foot radius.
So to make a long story short, your intimidate check happens 3 times a round, and it's huge, and you can do it instantly and automatically.
Yup, but wait, there's more.
Oh boy.
I took feats called damnation feats. This means that the more you take various damnation feats, your character is promised to either, Abaddon or the Abyss or Hell, which means that only an evil character can resurrect you if you die. So what this means is that not only do I have 3 intimidates a turn, my intimidates, because of these feats, these very powerful feats, inflict stages of fear as per the spell.
So, okay. So you're not just intimidating them, you're also actually making them scared. That's, okay. I see where you're going with this.
So they get a minus...
Pathfinder is the one that lets you do cool things that aren't spells.
Yup. And it goes, oh, hello. The first intimidate is -2 to your saves, and -2 to your attack, and -2 to your hit. The second stage is panic. They're running away. Third stage, they drop their fucking weapons and cower and will not fight you even when cornered.
Convenient. Also, the egos. Yeah.
It's really
magic
cool.
items in 5th edition. Oh my god. Magic items in 5th edition. Holy shit.
They're kind of doo-doo.
They're kind of doo-doo except when they're completely broken, except when they're completely doo-doo. It's just, they're no good. They're bad. They're like overpowered. They're not bad because they're like weak. They're bad because they're. Best example that I can have of this is Potion of Flying.
Go on.
Potion of Flying gives you an hour of flight. Once.
Yay.
I don't remember if it was a legendary or just very rare, but it was an insanely high tier of item for 1 hour of flight.
Why would that ever... A wizard can just cast that.
Right, but here's the fun part. The Winged Boot, which give you 8 hours of flight per day forever, are a common item.
Why?
Definition balance!
Why?
Right? Yes, the Egos gets it. Fighters are only worth it for 2 levels, so you can cast more spells per turn.
Just use... Oh, I didn't think about that. You can technically use the action surge to cast another spell, can't you?
Yes, everyone thinks the rule is they can only cast 1 leveled spell per turn. Which, I mean, that would be a very elegantly written rule that makes a lot of intuitive sense. 1 leveled spell per turn. That's a single sentence, it's clear, it's concise, it would be a very elegant way of writing down everything, it's easy to remember. People can pass it around very quickly. Therefore, you know that it's not the actual 5th edition rule. The actual 5th edition rule is, if you cast any spell as a bonus action, you can only cast cantrips using your action. Which... all that really does is fuck over sorcerers, and wizards can still do all sorts of other stupid shit. Like action surge, double fireball.
I'm okay with sorcerers being a little bit bullied.
I mean, you say that, but there's no reason to play a sorcerer in 5th edition. Except for, like, stupid PvP bullshit.
I don't know, dude. Sorcerer into, like, Cleric and Hex Blade, from what I remember, was pretty good.
Yeah, but those aren't sorcerers. Those are, like, multi-classes, which are good. And it's not a Cleric.
You mean pure sorcerers, okay.
Yeah, pure sorcerer is just, I want to play a wizard, but bad.
Fucking sorcerers and Pathfinder are fucking nuts compared to D&D sorcerers.
I mean, D&D sorcerers are the lamest shit I've ever seen. I mean, you can make one that's just a monk but better, but you do that with every class.
When it comes to D&D specifically, I never bother looking at the monk option because it's never been good. Even in 3.5, like, you have to break everything to make them okay. But they rely on a gimmick. They don't have an all-rounder option that makes them useful.
Yes, they just spam tripping attack.
Pretty much, for those who don't know, 3.5 is the edition where, is my class bad? Well, I'm gonna find a way to get rich quick so I can make my kit via crafting. Same goes for Pathfinder, except almost all the classes are actually useful in some way. Obviously, not all classes are created equal, but most of them don't require crafting to be competent.
Wait, oh man, do you know about crafting in 5th edition? It was added in a supplement.
What's that?
Crafting in 5th edition was added in a supplement, and it's hilarious.
I've heard it was bad.
You need to find a formula to make the magic item, and the existence of formula in the world is not anywhere in any adventure book, and the DM just has to arbitrarily make up whether or not you can find the formula somewhere.
They really don't like fun, do they?
No, it's basically just the same thing as, hey, can I have this magic item, GM? And the GM can either say yes or no. But with extra steps. It's why?
Crafting in Pathfinder is mind-bogglingly complicated.
Oh, William IV has a great question. Do sorcerers not get more spells per day than wizards anymore? In 5th edition, they get less.
Yup.
They get less spells than wizard per day because sorcerer is just wizard but bad. Like, imagine all of the fun things that a wizard can do and then just have less of it, and that's a sorcerer. Why? Because it's wizards of the coast, not sorcerers of the shore.
It's a bad joke, but I love it.
It's true, though! That's completely how it is!
I don't know why, it just brings intrusive thoughts about when people talk about Sea of Thieves. It's like, it's not called Sea of Friends.
What about Warlocks of the West? Nope. Warlocks are at least decent in 5th edition, though. Warlocks are hilarious. Oh my god, Warlocks.
I fucking love Warlocks.
Yeah, so what's great about Warlocks in 5th edition?
Just the combos. The combos.
I mean, that, and also they're just a better version of fighters.
What?
Yeah. Yeah, just... Warlocks... Okay, so what make a melee Warlock? A Hex Blade with, Polearm Master and Great Weapon Master and a two-handed thing that a regular fighter. With their invocations and whatnot, they'll just out-damage regular fighters. And then they also have Eldritch Blast, which kills slightly faster than fighter extra attacks and is the same thing as a fighter chucking around a freaking heavy crossbow. And it all runs off the same stat. And you know what else I get on top of that? Being a spellcaster.
Guess who's one of the people who figured out how busted Tunnel Fighter was when they released that Unearthed Arcana chapter?
What the fuck were they thinking with Tunnel Fighter? Also, good morning, Buttermutt Squash.
I'm just like, I can be a paladin with a dwarven polearm, and I can keep everybody damaged who comes in and comes out and take a feat that makes it so that if I hit them, they can't fucking move.
Oh, that's baby shit. You haven't thought about the real brokenness of it.
That's still broken even without going too deep.
I mean, yeah, it is, but you're not getting into the real fun of it, which is, Warcaster.
I don't know much about Warcaster.
Alright, so let's you replace opportunity attacks with a spell.
What the fuck?
So, the friend spell also makes it so that, by Ra, whoever you cast friends on now counts as hostile but won't take violent action against you. So before a fight, you cast friends on all of your friends, so they're now flagged as hostile, and whenever they move around you, they provoke opportunity attacks that you can immediately convert into stuff like Cure Wounds, or Polymorph, or Haste.
What the fuck?
Now you can apply infinite buffs every round to any party member that passes through your space or passes near it. Cleanse is the best cantrip. It's just that it does opposite of whatever it's intended to do.
I love that.
Oh yeah, Russian Bro brings up another fun part about 5th edition. You can't smite with fist. Which,
yeah, that makes sense because there's, even in Pathfinder in 3.5, unarmed doesn't count as a smiteable choice.
The thing about 5th edition, though, is that the exact phrasing is hitting an opponent with a weapon attack. I believe. I'd have to double check it. But they use the same language for Stunning Strike on monks, which meant that they either had to make it so that you could smite with fist, or that you couldn't use Stunning Strike with fists on monk. And instead what they choose to do is make a third errata where they explicitly call out that they tie Divine Smite to weapons as a thematic choice. And not because of game balance issues, because they fucking wrote themselves into a corner.
What the fuck?
What about with a bladed glove? Ooh, Lyle's VT, this is the fun part! So, rules as written. You cannot, punch someone with your fist to cast Booming Blade, or, a smite or whatever, because it's not using a weapon, right? So what you do is you grab your forearm with your other hand, right? And use your left hand to push your right fist into someone. This is an improvised weapon attack using your own arm, which treats your hand as a weapon and therefore becomes viable for Booming Blade and Divine Smite. You have to perform wrestling moves on yourself to punch Smite, but you can.
I think one of my favorite things that was when they dropped Eberron for 5th edition.
No, Eberron's in 5th edition.
No, I said one of the things I love doing is in the Eberron 5th edition is like now that you can play Warforged, you can just come out of the gate, and that's without being like super funny to your DM. Like you could just come out as a level 1 with like 22 or 23 AC.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, hee hee. Good luck fucking hitting me. I hope you have statuses packed.
Oh man, speaking of Warforged, did you see their earlier versions?
What, in 3.5 or?
No, in 5th edition. There was I can't remember if it was Unearthed Arcana or like an earlier book before they dropped Rising from the Last War. But I think it was Warforged Envoys had the ability to integrate a tool into their body.
Yeah, I do recall that because it's a system that they had in 3.5 that's very hard to come by. And I forgot what fuck-off random book it was from, but for those who don't know, Warforged, you used to be able to integrate Warforged parts and swap them out. Everybody knows that. But did you know organic characters could take Warforged parts and put them in themselves if you passed a save?
But here's the fun thing about this in 5th edition, though. You can integrate obvious tools like, oh yeah, I've just got thief tools in my hand, right?
Okay.
Under the player's handbook, you know what else falls under the tool section?
I'm scared. What?
Vehicles. You can technically, by the rules of written of that version, integrate a warship into your body as a weapon that you could unfold.
I don't. I could just be a fucking boat.
You could play as a goddamn boat. Or, get a fucking carriage or a fire truck or whatever and transform and roll out.
I can be an Optimus Prime.
You could be an Optimus Prime. However, you cannot integrate the donkeys or livestock or whatever that would be needed to pull the cart that you integrated yourself into. You need to have those on hand to power you.
What the fuck?
But the good news is, you at least can provide cover and block hallways for other characters.
Wait, would you get the hardness?
Yes.
Oh, what the fuck?
It also has no mentions whatsoever of like conservation of mass or whatever, and it counts as weightless while it's integrated into your body, so you can also just walk into a small, narrow building, transform into a full-sized boat, and presumably explode it apart.
That's fucked up.
Yep. Could you theoretically use a broom of flying to pull a wagon? Ask your DM. 5th edition does not cover that.
The answer usually is no.
Oh, Pig D12. You can smite with fists, you make weapon attacks with them. Yes! But they don't want you to do that, so you can't. They literally counteracted their own rules, because they use the exact same phrasing for justifying stunning strike working with fist. So it is literally just them fucking themselves over and being bad at writing not video games, they're being bad at writing tabletop games.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Believe it or not, the most well-written tabletop I've ever played was the Star Wars Edge of the Empire system.
Huh. Never heard of it. Oh no, I think Pig D12 does raise a good point. They are writing video games because they haven't actually written anything else for it.
So, Edge of the Empire is Star Wars. It's extended universe Star Wars, and the entire thing is that it runs off of a dice system that is not numerical. It's all based on little pictures, but the coolest part about building the character is that you can take a bunch of different sheets and classes, and you can just spend XP like a currency to purchase talents and put them together.
Oh, so it's a classless system with classes, basically.
Yep, and you can just mix whatever the fuck you want.
I'll keep still Menser Basic and Edition my favorite D&D editions. That is a nuclear take. Holy shit. Yeah, that seems pretty neat. I've played a couple of systems that were classic like that, and I vastly prefer them because classes are fucking stupid.
I understand why people like the class fantasy, but at the same time, the way that Pathfinder has trained me to think is that this class is just a label. I will put anything together because I'm looking at what it does. I'm not looking at what it narratively says it is. This is just a set of tools I want to put together. I do not look at it as a class system anymore.
Actually, it's funny you bring up that Warforged ridiculous AC thing, because I played something sort of similar to that in the game.
Go for it.
It wasn't a Warforged, it was a variant humage for a fucking ridiculous feat combo that I'll explain later.
Uh-oh.
But yeah, first level in Fighter, get myself some armor, get myself defensive style, get myself a shield, kicking around at 19 AC to start with. Wizard for most of the rest of it, specifically War Wizard. Get myself better armor later on, so I'm starting, just chilling out as a wizard in plate armor with a shield and, 21 AC at base.
Yeah, I was about to say, because you don't have 22 because you're technically not a Warforged cleric.
Right.
Or a Forge cleric, excuse me.
But I can cast the shield spell on reaction when something hits me to spike to 26. The Tarrasque has 25, but it gets better! I can cast Haste on myself to give myself a permanent +2, which lets me spike that up to 23, then I can spec it to 28. But it gets better, because I'm a War Wizard, I get an AC bonus while concentrating on spells! So I've got a flat 25 AC when I'm hasted that I can spike up to 30, and the Tarrasque sits pretty at 25.
Jesus. That's like Dex tank measurements.
Yeah, you can't touch me. I just sit there, and if it's not safe for half, it doesn't do anything. Strangle every single Hexadin you see face.
I haven't seen the actual stat block for Tarrasque in 5e.
Ooh, I could probably send it to you. Give me just a second to open this up.
Strangle every single Hexadin you see.
Yeah, you know about... Oh, wait, you put out before Xanathar's dropped, didn't you? Or right around when it did.
Yeah, it came out after I stopped playing.
Yeah, so there's this class, or subclass specifically, for Warlock called Hex Blade.
Uh-oh.
It lets you use your charisma to make attacks at first level.
That's not broken at all.
And so paladins are supposed to be making choices between strength to boost their damage and charisma to boost their spell casting and special effects.
No.
So you can just one level dip into Hexblade, and now your paladin has one stat that everything runs off of. Also, they have a ranged attack now.
That's horrible.
Yeah, it's incredibly badly balanced.
All they have to do is charisma and con now. That's a nightmare for a DM.
Yep. And because of a new feat, they can just fucking get Agonizing Blast off of one level in Hexblade. Yes, here is the Tarrasque. And I mean, this used to be like the broken bullshit that you would get you kicked from a game, but then Tasha's dropped and it got even dumber.
A lot of people told me like Tasha's threw everybody through a fucking loop.
So, let me explain to you bounded accuracy. For those of you who don't know, the way 5th edition is supposed to work is that you start off at level 1 with a +5, and then you finish the game at 20 with a +11. Alright, pretty simple. Like, there's nothing more to it, that's all there is. So Peace Clerics can cast Bless, and then cast, like, Emboldening Bond or whatever, and just give everyone a passive +5 to everything they do, saves, attack rolls, etc.
You know what? I'm gonna pull up the Tarask stat block from Pathfinder, 3.5, and then I'm going to compare it to this, because what I'm seeing here is infinitely more merciful.
Oh, you know what's even funnier about the fucking Tarask in 5th edition? It doesn't have any real way to deal with people going fast and running away from it.
I'm noticing that.
Yes, a 40-foot fucking speed, even if it's using legendary move to get itself faster. Does he have legendary move? Yes. You can just have one guy with a longbow at like level 1 on a phantom steed, just slowly blink it down.
Okay, so I'm gonna read the...
points and nothing else.
I'm gonna read the 5th edition stat block for everybody.
Oh god, just to get the highlights, it's kind of long, even if it's mostly empty.
Oh no, I'm just reading the stats part. I'm not reading the actions.
Okay.
So, armor class 25, hit points 676, 40-foot movement speed, 30 strength, 11 dex, con 30, 3 int, 11 wisdom, 11 charisma. Damage immunities: fire, poison, bludgeon, piercing, slashing, non-magical. Conditioned immunities: charm, frightened, paralyzed, and poisoned. With a blind sight of double the sight range, with a passive perception of 10. I want you all to understand that this is the most docile stat block I've ever fucking seen for something that's meant to be on par with a deity. Period.
Yeah. That int save is fucking tripling too, after Tasha came out and added like good int save spells.
Yeah, and now let's go over the 3.5 block, shall we? Hit dice. 48d10. It has a natural 858 HP with a potential to be more. With an initiative of +7, it has half the speed of the Tarask that you have in 5th edition, but the armor class is 35 with a base attack and grapple of +48 and +81. Its damage is 57 with a critical modifier of 18 to 20, and it can multiply the damage by 3 if it fucking crits you. It has reach. It can grapple, it can do 2 attacks, it can slam you, and it has...
It has things that actually make it threatening to a party, as opposed to give a level 1 fighter a magic +0 longbow and a fast horse and it wins.
And unless you have a spell, you have to roll to not take intimidation penalties every fucking round. It has damage reduction epic of 15. It's immune to every single fucking element except ice. It can't be diseased. It can't have ability level or energy drain. It regenerates 40 HP a turn. It can smell you wherever you are because it doesn't require its sense of sight to see you. And any spell you cast at it that does damage is just automatically like 32 damage shaved off of it.
Oh man, actually, that just reminded me of, you know how I said it has a fucking terrible int save?
Yeah.
I want to tie that back. Remember when I said I had that stupid feat combo?
Go on.
So, Polearm Master, great feat, completely overpowered. I don't know what the fuck they were thinking.
I love that feat.
What it does is that it gives you an extra attack whenever you pick it up, which is, okay, first off, that's stupid. That's, like, no reason to not have that. Use polearms. They are correct. It is an extra attack. But they also let you make opportunity attacks when someone walks into your ring. Warcaster lets you substitute opportunity attacks with spells. There's a spell that I love called Tasha's Mind Whip, which has a duration of until the end of their next turn. So they walk up to you, you hit them with a Mind Whip, and then their turn is done because it basically stuns them. And it doesn't wear off at that point because it's not their next turn.
That's...
So because it did it off turn, they now lose 2 turns instead of 1, using just your reaction in a 2nd level spell slot. It's so dumb. Also, Artman TAS, thank you so much for the follow. Now, I don't tell this to a lot of people. In fact, you're the only person I've ever told it to. The only one. But you're actually my favorite follower. That's right, my number 1. Because, you know, I love people who draw art, especially art of me. Because then I can groom them for free art to use in promotional images.
My DM won't let me play Sentinel builds anymore.
God, Sentinel builds ain't shit. Try combine. Oh, wait, you can't do that with Wooing Blade anymore. That's so unfortunate. Oh, actually, I just remember the other ridiculously fun part about Conjure Barrage.
Go on.
So, it has a material component of, you know, a thing, a piece of ammunition, or a ranged weapon, right?
Okay.
It doesn't have a listed price for that.
Oh, wait, really?
Yes, which means that, per rules as written, you can pull a substitute out, or the equivalent of it out, from any basic component pouch.
What? Wait. No.
Component pouches say that you can have 1 or so of whatever material component is not consumed or has a listed value for any spell. So a component pouch by Raw has infinite ammo in it, as well as infinite of every thrown weapon that you want to use.
What the fuck?
Can you just pull out, you know, infinite daggers from a component pouch as soon as you have that spell? But this gets better! In Tasha's, they introduced an even more fun spell, Dream of the Blue Veil, whose material component is that it requires either a magic item or a willing participant from another world. And it's supposed to be, it's the Isekai spell, right?
I haven't heard of this.
It teleports you to another world. That's all. It's like Plane Shift, except it only works with things that are from that other world. Okay. The person and the magic item don't have a listed value for the material component.
What the fuck? So you can just do this for free?
Yes, so you can use a component pouch to substitute out the price. And just have, like, yeah, so I'm going to use these gauntlets of ogre power that I found from another world in my material pouch. Okay, I have these level 1, fuck you. Also, yes, because there are infinite material blades out there that you could be shifting to, this also means that there is quite literally an infinite number of people and an infinite number of magic items included in every single specific weight component pouch. And they all have to be weightless.
That, they really... Look, what's it called? Let me read this.
Dream of the Blue Veil. Oh yes, and Pig D12 brings up a pretty fantastic and spectacular thing about bards in 5th edition.
Okay, so...
The bards can snipe off spells from other spell lists, right? They just have to be of a level they can cast.
Yeah.
5th level spells for the half-casters, like Paladin and Ranger, are really ridiculously strong because it's supposed to be endgame equivalents.
Alright.
Yeah, they're supposed to be like almost on par with Wish and whatnot. So one of them for Ranger is Swift Quiver. It lets you make 2 attacks with a ranged weapon as a bonus action.
Oh no.
If you play a bard, a Valor Bard specifically, and get a longbow and snipe that spell, starting at level 10, you can start just making 4 attacks around.
Jesus fuck.
When fighters don't even have their 3rd attack yet.
And people say fighters are the end-all be-all of damage.
Fighters are literally worse than Hex Blades at will damage. There is no... If you have a fighter in your party and it's not just a couple of dips for action surge, the fighter is a wrong choice. Like, objectively, it is suboptimal. It is suboptimal to have every... Okay, there's basically 3 tierings of class in 5th edition. You have the Spellcasters and Paladin as the top. You have everyone else, and then you have Monk at the bottom. Monk is so trash it gets its own tier. It's just... Oh, God.
I remember somebody telling me not that long ago that apparently Hex Blade crossbowmen were a huge fucking problem in 5th edition.
Hex Blade crossbowmen?
Yeah, apparently that you can get like an insane amount of charisma damage, and on top of that you can get like little eldritch smites to go with your fucking arrow shots or some shit.
Yes, if you throw a ton of resources at being like a ranged sniper build with melee as a Hex Blade, you can slightly out damage just using Hex and Hex Blade's Curse as a Hex Blade tossing Eldritch Blast around. It's not a good use of resources unless you're going for a build that just does a lot of damage very quickly, because it runs dry super fast.
It sounds like a glass cannon build, if I had to be honest, but apparently it's enough of a problem that, like, official tables won't let you play it anymore. Because they found a way to smite at distance, and I'm just like, huh.
Oh yeah, no, Eldritch Smite on any sort of blade pack, Hexblade, or not Hexblade, Warlock. It's just a smite on a weapon attack, doesn't specify melee or range. Eldritch Smite works at range.
That sounds like a good target burst.
It is! But it has a pretty significant downside, is that it knocks them prone, therefore the rest of your attacks are at disadvantage.
You get disadvantage for prone now?
At range, yes. In melee, you're fine.
Oh, okay. Man. Eldritch Blast builds are like my... It's boring to most people, but I find the fact that I can nuke somebody and shove them back multiple squares to be very hilarious. So, just the more you get higher in level, the more the enemy cannot come touch me.
Yep. And what's really fun is that you can combine that with Polearm Master and Warcaster to do that as a reaction when someone walks into melee range.
Wait.
Oh, you got into melee? No. Actually, I'm putting you on the other side of the room. Bye.
And because it's a reaction, it doesn't... You can still land every single bolt when you're higher level. That's fucked up.
Yes, and if you take in a couple of levels of Sorcerer, you can now just do it. Freaking 3 full Eldritch Blasts every round.
What the fuck?
But it gets better! It gets even better! Because of how much they fucked up Blade Singer in Tasha's.
Uh-oh, what did they do?
God. Blade Singer is the only thing in the game that has extra attack that is slightly different. Every other extra attack is copy-paste. Blade Singer gets a unique one, despite it also being called extra attack.
So
what it does is that they can replace one weapon attack when they take the attack action with a cantrip.
Oh, that
by itself is probably fine, but haste exists. Haste gives you another attack action during which you can only take one weapon attack that you then should probably be able to replace using your extra attack feature.
So what's the full combo here? Laid all out.
Alright, you get Sorcerer so you can quicken an Eldritch Blast. You get a Blade Singer that's got haste up, so you can Eldritch Blast with your attack action and then make another Eldritch Blast with your extra attack action from haste. Polearm Master and Warcaster, you can make a 4th one when an enemy approaches you.
That's not counting like the possibility that you could also trigger a react when they're coming towards you.
No, that is counting it. So it's 4 Eldritch Blasts per round.
And on top of that, you could shove them back every single fucking time.
Yes.
Potentially.
Throw in a couple levels of Fighter for Action Surge. Let's just fucking make, 20 attacks per round. Because, why be a fighter?
What the fuck? No, wait a minute, hold on. You could potentially, even at an early game, you could get, like, on average of when people stop playing the Warlocks, you could get 3 or 4 bolts on each of those fucking casts, which literally does amount to a potential 20 ticks of damage.
Oh, sorry, actually, I just remembered a better way to do this. Through having Sorcerer levels, take 7 levels of Eldritch Knight, because when you take the attack action, you can cast a cantrip with your bonus action. And you're taking the attack action and replacing one of the attacks with Eldritch Blast, which lets you also get another Eldritch Blast as your bonus action. For free, there's no resources there. Stack on haste, and you're looking at fucking 16 shots per round, resource free aside from 1 haste use?
What the fuck?
Oh my god. What's even funnier about this is that they didn't put a casting time restriction for the Bladesinger thing.
What?
Yeah. So,
what?
Mending, which normally takes a minute to cast, you can just do that as part of your attack action.
What the fuck were they thinking?
They weren't. Which is really great, because this other intelligence-based class called Artificer.
I actually didn't get to dig into Artificer this edition, like, at all.
Oh man, Artificer's real fun. It's like the best designed and balanced class overall. It's just that it exists in a game where there's things that are badly balanced and combined with it. But
so
Artificer,
is it in a situation where, like, it's good on its own, or it's forced into being, like, a dip?
it's as good as a wizard, but does a different role.
Oh,
Imagine being a half-caster wizard who also gets, like, everything a rogue can do and then can craft magic items.
That sounds really good.
Yeah, it's like, it's balanced. How to make a broken artificer? Well, here's the thing. Go for, Battlesmith, which gets a robot dog as a pet, right?
Uh-oh.
Robot dog gets healed when you cast Mending on it.
Guess who can cast Mending on an attack?
Yeah, it's supposed to be a way to heal it outside of combat, but you can just replace one of your attacks with, yeah, this thing gets free hit points. Fuck you.
Oh, no.
Yes, and you can just place it in front of you and make ranged attacks and substitute one of your ranged attacks for for Mending as part of the attack action. And it just has infinite hit points.
Oh, no. That's so... Wait, no, that's so busted. Hold on.
Oh, if you think that's busted, how about infinite hit points at level 3?
For you or the dog?
For you. You are a personal tank. This is my favorite tank build. Because
Oh god, does it involve me being a Warforged?
No, because it has infinite hit points. It doesn't care about AC.
Okay.
So what you do, right? Take your first level in Hex Blade.
Alright.
Already off to a good power gamer start. This gets you medium armor and sets you a level of Warlock, which lets you qualify for a feat requirement to get, what was it? Eldritch Adept feat, which you can get as a variant human first level, to pick up at-will mage armor.
Oh my fucking god.
By itself, this doesn't do anything, because you're going to be wearing regular armor, because you have armor proficiency, because you're a Hexblade.
I'm already worried.
Then you just never take another level of Hexblade and go straight into Abjurer.
Explain.
Abjurer gets something called Arcane Ward, which, it's a second hit point pool that if it drains first, and it getting hit doesn't count as you getting hit, so it doesn't trigger stuff like concentration checks.
So it's a shield. So it's an energy shield.
Yeah, it's literally an energy shield, and it gets healed up whenever you cast an abjuration spell, such as mage armor, which is at will.
Oh no!
Congratulations! Starting at level 3, you have more hit points than a fucking bear totem barbarian.
Oh no!
And it only gets dumber as you get into higher levels, because that one level of Hexblade gets you Armor of Agathis, which gives you 5 temporary hit points per spell level it's cast at.
Agathis is too good of a fucking spell for how low it is.
But here's the even better part. It triggers when you get hit, and lasts as long as the temporary hit points do. But your ward takes damage first. So you get hit, your ward takes damage, triggers Armor of Agathis, so now it has 10 times the duration it's supposed to have.
What the fuck? No!
And combine this with Contingency Armor of Agathis. Again, Armor of Agathis is an abjuration spell, which means that casting it reveals your ward too. So you get Contingency Armor of Agathis, with a contingency that when Armor of Agathis breaks, it'll cast Armor of Agathis again. Strip off all of your armor to get yourself as low in AC as possible, and just walk around taking opportunity attack.
That's fucked up.
They will die before you do.
That's so fucked up.
It's so fucked up.
That's a good way to get kicked out of your table really fucking quick.
Right? You're playing a tank that deals 25 free damage every time you get hit. and you have infinite hit points, and you just run around taking damage. You literally just strip naked and wave your willy in someone's face and walk away from them, and when they hit you for it, they die.
Magic. That's magic, everybody.
It's it's so fair. It's so balanced.
So is this taking into account what kind of Hex Blade, or does it not matter?
Hex Blade is a type of Warlock.
Yeah, but like, does it matter what weapon you use, or like?
You don't use a weapon. You have minimum charisma for the qualify for multi-classing. You never use any charisma-related features. This is just for armor of Agathis and armor proficiency.
That's it.
You don't even bother with Eldritch Blast. You don't need to bother with any other spells. Just fuck it.
Oh man,
you're just there for that one spell and armor proficiencies, and now you're invincible.
That's fucked up. There's so little barrier of entry for this.
Just need 13 charisma, and you don't give a shit about Constitution because of infinite hit points anyway.
That fucking... I'm writing this down. I'm gonna send it to a friend because I want him to make his DM pissed off.
Hit D12, that is mostly true. I still think Sorkadin is competitive with Hex Blade.
What is a Gish lock?
It's a Warlock that's designed to be a Gish.
I'm not familiar with the term Gish.
Oh, you're not. It just means a guy who uses magic and also stabs people. It comes from the Githyanki Gish Blades from 2nd edition.
Okay.
Oh, man. And here is the yeah, God. And yes, Pig D12 is completely right in that there is no other reason to play. If you're going to be in melee as a Warlock and you're not playing Hexblade, you're wrong. Like, they have an entire pack dedicated to, being in melee, the Blade Pack, which is supposed to take a 3rd level. It doesn't matter! Hexblade, the 1st level Hexblade is stronger than the Blade Pack. There's no reason to bother with it.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm one of those people who likes one of the absolute worst packs out there. And I love it because it's just not only durable, but it's thematically disgusting for anything involving an undead campaign, and it's Pack of the Undying.
Oh, well, I've got good news and bad news about that.
Oh, really?
The good news and bad news is that they made a better version of it.
Uh-oh. Did they take away my favorite part where if an undead hits you, they might just ignore you?
Probably. I didn't look into it at all because I didn't look much into the Tasha subclasses. They're so dumb. It's so bad. Let me check real quick. Because
that was my favorite part of Pact of the Undying, is that if an undead hits you, they need to make a save to see if they actually want to attack you or not.
Convenient. Sort of like Sanctuary.
Yeah, it's like if they fail to save, they just won't attack you, and then you can resume blasting them.
Yes, they made a new version of the Undying called Undead.
Uh-oh.
Which is just pretty much the same thing except better.
Go on.
Instead of making undead choose not to attack you, you can transform into an undead.
Yo.
And you frighten everything, and you start dealing, necrotic damage to stuff. Let's see. You no longer get the stay alive thing, instead you deal more damage, which is useful. Undead nature versus necrotic husk. Resistance to necrotic damage. Immune to necrotic damage when transformed.
Hey.
Yes, and when you die, instead of dying, you go to 1 hit point. And everything around you dies.
Yo! Hold on.
And they just take, 2d10 plus your Warlock level and gain a level of exhaustion.
That's fucked up.
Yeah, it's strong.
So now I have even more incentive to play my old build in Curse of Strahd.
Yes, you can play an Undead instead of an Undying, which... I love that they couldn't even bother to change the name. Yes, just exhaustion for not dying. And yes, it is new, it is in Tasha's. Also, there is one type of Gish lock that I actually like, which is a Tome Lock that took medium armor at the 1st level as a variant human. Celestial Tome Lock, which allows you to add your charisma bonus to Green Flame Blade, which adds your charisma bonus to damage, and use the charisma to hit, because you're Lele.
So you get 2 dips in charisma to damage and then a charisma to hit.
Yes.
The fuck?
It's basically like playing a melee cleric. Also, it has no investment whatsoever beyond the 1st level feat for actually boosting its attacks. It just has one giant set everything on fire ability. It's fun.
Even Pathfinder has a contingency for this. The math game says you cannot take... It literally has it in the fucking rules. It's like, if you have something that adds a stat-based scaling to your defense or damage, you cannot do it again. They made sure you couldn't do that again.
Oh boy, so... Hex Blade... Hex Blade? No, not Hex Blade. Yes, no, not Hex Blade. Okay, so, Oathbreaker Paladin, Celestial Tomelock, and Fire Dragon Sorcerer combined. Lets you add your charisma to damage 4 times.
What?
Yeah, it don't give a fuck.
What the
Yeah, PvD12, they do let you do that, but so does this other build. So it's competitive, but it's not focused on actually, being in melee. It just can do melee and also is a Tomelock. Yes, 550's solution to most things is just to tell the GM to make it up. It's bad. It's so bad. Like, oh my god, let me rant about skill uses! Oh, skill uses! My favorite thing about 5th edition.
I'm like rubbing my temples. What do you mean 4 times charisma addition to fucking damage?
Yeah, you get it from your Vengeful Aura, you get it from Green Flame Blade, you get it from Elemental Affinity, you get it from Shillelagh. It's balanced.
Yeah, apparently. I'm like having an aneurysm.
They also don't have anything preventing AC stacking like that, so if you rolled like straight 18s at character creation like I like to do, you can play a Blade Singing Monk. Or even better, a Blade Singing Turtle Monk.
I actually don't know the stat block for turtles.
They have 17 AC to start with.
What the fuck?
But they can't use armor.
Oh, okay. Wait, but them being a monk and having that and scaling, does their AC still scale off wisdom?
Yes.
Excuse no!
And then you get Blade Singer to also add your intelligence to your AC.
No, it's not okay.
Wait, it doesn't? You might have to do it only with mage armor then. No, does mage armor work? I don't know, but you can do it's a flat 17. Yeah, it is a flat 17. Does that prevent calculations of other form of AC? If it doesn't, you can still stack Dexterity, Wisdom, and Blade Singing together. Which will get you a theoretical, unarmored 25 AC.
What the fuck, man? That's so fucked up.
Yeah! Lizard Man, Barbarian, Beast Path, AC, just do Shield, Cleric, D8, Barbarian Tail. Yeah, that's another fun one. Ooh, you could also take 3 levels in, Swords Bard to get Maneuver dice that let you roll a die when you attack and add the results to your damage and AC.
What?
Let's see. Hold on, let me look this up. Yes, Swords Bard, Defensive Flourish, roll a Bardic Inspiration die, add damage equal to the result, and add to your AC until the next turn.
What the fuck? No, that's not okay.
It's fine. It's fine.
That's a good way to cheese end module bosses.
Yeah, so you would have base 25 unarmored AC, then you could add up to 8 onto it from the Swords Bard levels. So that's 33 AC. And yes, it's at will at later levels as well.
Now, if you do this, manage to squeeze this out multiple times in a round, does the end result stack?
No, unfortunately.
Okay, so they thought a little bit.
They thought a little bit.
They thought a little. Okay, because I was like, I'm about to give somebody a fucking aneurysm if they stack.
No, they have a specific thing in there that says you can't suffer the benefits of one thing more than once.
Okay, all right. But man, just.
Oh, then you can cast Haste on yourself and get yourself a nice 35 AC and just walk around with that unarmored. Reminder, the Tarrasque only has 25.
Yeah, why did they give it 25? Like, I'm looking at the Tarrasque. It has less HP, less AC, more movement speed, but who cares? Less resistances.
25 is supposed to be the AC cap. Like, you're not supposed to be able to break that as a player or as an enemy.
They have an AC cap for enemies now?
It's the bounded accuracy thing. You're only supposed to get like plus 11, and you're supposed to be able to hit roughly 60% of the time.
Isn't it really fucking easy to hit 25?
Yeah. They designed with this intent. That doesn't mean they accomplished the intent.
It's so easy to hit a 25 in 5e, though.
Yeah?
Nothing can stand in your way if 25 is the limit.
Pretty much. That's why that one fucking bastard build that I had where I was playing, Fighter 2, War Wizard, the rest, only got hit on a crit, and I looked for ways to get disadvantage, so that I had a 1 in 400 chance of getting hit.
I'm like rubbing my temples right now. It's just giving me I'm like having a fucking aneurysm because I'm so used to, like, in Pathfinder, a peasant is a threat to you, let alone these 25 AC, very low HP sponges, and I'm sitting here like, oh man, this can't be so bad considering the bosses I fight have 800 fucking HP on average.
Right? No. 5th edition just doesn't have any idea what it's doing. Like, let me tell you about how you kill Tiamat, not like an avatar of Tiamat, the actual Tiamat, in one round as a wizard fighter.
Go on.
First off, you cast Mordenkainen's Faithful Hound.
I know that one.
Lasts for 8 hours, non-concentration, it just makes attacks at things that are nearby. Magical piercing.
Magical piercing? I didn't know that.
It's a spell slot, so it's all magical damage.
Okay.
Then you cast Action Surge to cast Wall of Force and trap Tiamat in the Wall of Force next to a angry dog.
Oh no.
And then you just walk away.
How much damage does the dog do?
4d8 per round, and Wall of Force, it lasts 8 hours, so that's like a fuck billion infinity rounds.
So Tiamat can't kill the dog.
It doesn't have hit points. It's not an object. It's not a valid target for anything she has. It's just there. It's an angry, invisible dog that's invincible. Similarly, Wall of Force is also invincible.
They didn't put an HP value on a summoned creature.
Correct. The summoned creature cannot move, though.
Why did they not give it an HP pool?
Wall of Force can't be that big? I'm pretty sure it can if you do a hemispherical dome. And if it can't, then you can use Force Gauge instead. But yeah, this strategy works for everything if you can just walk away and maintain concentration, assuming they can't teleport. And even if they can teleport, you can just play a Time Wizard, which can concentrate on 2 spells at once and just cast Fog Gate! Or not Fog Gate, Cloud. So now they can't see to teleport out of.
Egos, there is under no circumstance in any tabletop that you should ever have a summoned object that can participate in a player-type economy that doesn't have a cancel function or a death condition. Period.
I mean, you can cast Dispel Magic on it, it's just that that's not on Tiamat's spell list.
Why wouldn't a deity creature have that? It's so stupid!
I don't even think Strahd has this. You could probably use this combo to kill Strahd, too.
Why would they equip deity-level bosses with fucking Dispel Magic?
I mean, why would they need it? If they're just they have hit points and can do a lot of damage, obviously they'll be fine. Just ignore control spells.
Or counterspell at the very least.
You know what's so fun about this, too?
What?
It has more range than counterspell, and there's no saves involved.
What the fuck?
So you can just win initiative, and if they can't teleport, they lose. And if you're a Chrono Wizard, even if they teleport, they lose.
I'm having a fucking aneurysm. They can't possibly, do they not test their own shit?
No.
And they trust people with a bunch of weird, erratas to give them the most accurate possible information. And even then, they don't fucking read it when people break it.
What was that spell? It was Wall of Force. And yes, they don't even read the erratas. They don't even read their own shit to make sense. Fucking Crawford ruled 3 different exclusive ways on the Shield Master feat.
What do you mean he ruled 3 different ways?
The bullet point on Shield Master says that when you take the attack action, you can shove as a bonus action.
Okay.
Oh, this dude is mithrildiggy. Type in exclamation point SO in chat, mithrildiggy.
This is the cursed command?
No, yes, this is the shout-out command that only works for the person typing it. There you go.
That was really funny when Congo was on and he typed that. It just showed up as his fucking channel. It was really fucking funny.
Yes, what is the other thing in chat that I want to respond to? The correct value to He goes to Can't believe Jones make his guests do their own shoutouts. I know, right?
I make my guests do their shoutouts too.
I'm too lazy to shout them out. They have to shout themselves out. Fuck y'all bitches.
Unless I'm doing art, if I'm in the middle of a game, I'm like, shout yourself out.
Let's see. Yes, Wall of Force or Force Cage. They're just completely overpowered and not at all balanced. And what on earth were they thinking?
Do they have any unarmed builds in 5e that are actually worth spit?
Define worth spit.
Can do damage, can be relevant to level 20.
If you get a specific magic item, the claw tattoo, then yes.
What does it do?
The claw tattoo makes your unarmed strikes magical, therefore you can bypass resistances. And then you just play a fighter and not a monk. And punch stuff, the unarmed fighting style for D8. It's not great. It's worse than using a sword.
That's so depressing. And they don't even take into consideration that larger creatures do more unarmed damage natively, do they?
Nope. I mean, you could make yourself a Rune Knight and get yourself a punching bonus, but... Speaking of Rune Knights, I am so sad they eroded out what fairies used to be able to do.
What do they do?
They could fit into any sort of passageway that a tiny creature could squeeze through.
Why would they errata that out?
Because what you do is you go up their butt, cast enlarge on yourself, and then use the Rune Knight feature to enlarge again as a bonus action to immediately go from tiny to gargantuan.
That's so fucking childish.
Yes, the Ant-Man versus Thanos gambit.
Why would they errata that out? It doesn't even affect them.
I mean, it also worked in 3.5. You knew about the Arsplomancer build, right?
I think maybe?
Okay, so climbing into a passageway that's like 2 inches diameter is a DC 80 escape artist check.
Okay.
If you take the Exemplar class, you can hit that by, like, what was it, level 11? You can take 10 on it to do it within a single round.
What the fuck? Okay, no, I don't know this.
And then, yeah, Yoni knows it. And then you just go inside someone's butthole in a single round.
Our Splomancer.
Yes, and the fun part about this is that you can also make it a performance check.
Why?
Because you're committing an 80 DC thing and impress everyone. So when a tribe of angry orcs show up, you can dive up the leader's butthole and move them from hostile to friendly. Because they are so impressed by your ability to crawl up someone's ass. And they really didn't want to bring that back for 5th edition.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna say that one of the stabs were butthurt. Who the fuck gets so salty that they remove an ass joke from their game?
Right?
Who is that?
Man.
Who's that petty? It's like, no butt joke, no anal, not allowed.
It's one of my favorite stupid things in 3.5. My other favorite is the locate city nuke.
Excuse me?
You can take this ridiculous long chain of metamagic feats to make Locate City deal, I think, 1 point of thunder damage? Or sonic damage. Which prompts it to have a reflex save, right?
Okay.
Then you add the explosive metamagic onto this Locate City spell.
Oh no.
Which deals a d6 damage for every 5 foot that a target travels, and they get pushed to the edge of the radius of Locate City, which is like 20-mile radius or something stupid.
So you shove everybody through walls and out of their homes, and...
Well, they don't actually take damage from it if they can't get moved, but you can just, like, blow up an entire city with it. Take a D12 remembers that. I remember it involved Born of Three Thunders. But beyond that, I do not remember most of it. I could look it up. It's pretty well known. It's...
What the fuck, dude? What do you mean you can just blow up a fucking city?
It's even better, because you can add in first a metamagic that adds 2 cold damage to all your spells. Then you use Born of Three Thunders to substitute the cold damage with, lightning or sonic? One of the two. Which gives it a reflex save. Yes, converts half that damage to thunder, so it deals 1 point of thunder damage. And then that prompts a reflex save, which makes it a valid target for explosive metamagic. And you can also add in a point of necrotic damage that makes it that anything killed by it resurrects as a zombie that's not under your control.
So, you nuke a city, you raise them all from the fucking dead. You've effectively just given the local undead populace like a 12% increase regionally.
And you can just keep on doing it, and just, there's your fucking BBE, big bad evil guy. There's your main villain. I'm just gonna fucking locate city nuke to make zombie hordes and fuck everything up. Get wrecked, bitches.
That's fucked up.
It is? The fun kind of fucked up, too.
I kind of want to do it.
There's a lot of fun stuff you can do from 3.5 that is just a wizard fucking up everything for everyone.
That's pretty much every wizard. Every plot involves some kind of wizard fucking up somehow.
Wizards are so much fun.
Yeah,
this is also why I've been banned from playing a wizard at all tables I've played at except one.
You mean all the tables where they know what you're doing?
Yeah. Oh, man. Oh, God. And I just remember the fucking Articron build for 5th edition. Holy shit.
What's that?
You take your first level in Artificer to get Magic Stone, and also armor proficiencies.
What's Magic Stone?
You take rocks, and then if someone throws the rock, they add your spellcasting modifier to hit and to damage. Or rather, use it, as if you were the one making a cantrip attack with it.
Alright.
Then you take a bunch of levels in Wizard to get Tiny Servant. And you can make up to 3 stones that deal your intelligence for their modifier, and then just drop them on the ground as a free action to your 3 Tiny Servants, and now you just make 3 attacks as a bonus action. At like level 6. Also, you're a fucking wizard.
Which means you can just do DPS after the setup.
Yeah, like you can do some sort of big thing like Hypnotic Pattern or whatever, and then just like destroy everything with your 3 attacks around because fuck you, fighter. You want to be good at fighting, you shouldn't have picked fighter, you should have picked wizard.
Wizards always win. I hate it.
They do, and it's Wizards of the Coast, what do you expect? Not Fighters of the Fjord.
Fucking... Just, doesn't matter what tabletop it is, Wizards always seem to win. Fuck.
Yeah.
I'm working. You want to know something really funny that I'm doing in a Pathfinder table I'm in right now?
Just a second. Pig D12 brought up something incredible that I have to share with you.
Okay.
Illusionist 14 gets a thing called Illusory Reality, where your illusions are real for a bit.
Okay. Just real fake drowning? Oh no.
Real fake drowning is one thing you can do with it, but it's not the fun way. You can use Minor Illusion to put an illusion of plate armor on an enemy wizard. And then make it real as a bonus action. And now they can't cast an armor because they don't have the proficiency. It takes 10 minutes to take it off.
Holy shit.
Anyway, what are you working on with Pathfinder?
So, I'm a level 1 wizard right now, just straight up wizard. But I'm not sure if you're aware, but in Pathfinder, and for those of you who don't know, archetypes don't work as a class substitution. No. You can pick and choose portions from archetypes to exchange and add on to the one you have. So, as long as the current feature you're attempting to replace is not affected by another feature from the other than it existing on the base class, you can mix like 2 or 3 other subclasses into your base class to create something entirely different.
Oh, that's neat.
So, I have 2 features from, it's called Exploiter Wizard and Pact Wizard, where my spellbook is my Pact, and I can, if my Pact book gets destroyed, I can just summon it later. I don't have to pay for it to be replaced.
Okay.
I have everything, which is good, because in Pathfinder, when you get hit with like AoE or a kind of damage that is just any kind of cone, blanket, whatever, your items also take damage.
Huh.
But here's the real kicker. With Exploiter Wizard, I get a Magus' arcane pool feature, which means that I can use a resource pool to boost my damage. And then I can take a feature, like
You've got things, and then you can boost your damage, and
I also have another feature that on character generation, which is something that can also add more damage onto the thing. And at level 1, a level 1 spell that only does 1d6 damage, I can pump out 4d6 damage in one spell, take that spell multiple times, and then take a meta magic at level 3 that will make it so that I can double the upper limit of it. So this is Snowball. Snowball caps at 5d6 with scaling. But with
so it's a 10d6 snowball.
I can do a 10d6 snowball, and basically it's described as when somebody lets a snowball freeze in the freezer and you chuck it at their fucking head, and it's basically a rock. So I'm throwing cold rocks at people for a potential 60 damage around.
That's actually, there's something really similar to that in 5th edition called the Nuclear Wizard.
Oh?
It's nuclear magic missiles. Alright, so the way it works is, as every good power game build does, it takes its first level at Hex Blade.
Oh, of course it does.
Because Hex Blade's curse adds a small, flat amount of damage when you curse someone.
Okay.
And Magic Missile, despite all conventional wisdom, you don't actually roll a bunch of d4s, 1 per dart. You roll one d4, and then apply that to each dart.
That's weird.
It's weird, but it has to do with the way that the rules are written for things striking simultaneously, similar to how you roll once for fireball rather than once per target.
Oh, okay. All right. You know what? That makes sense.
So, flat damage onto that missile, small amount, just like 2 at early levels.
Okay.
They didn't go for 10 levels in Evoker.
I don't know.
But adds your intelligence, which should be +5 by now to each of those missiles.
With an upper cap of 30, because you can't go beyond 30 in 5th edition, right?
No, upper cap of 20, because you can't go past 30 except with magic juicing. But, you should also have +4 for efficiency bonus, which is what Hex Blade unit uses. So you add +9 to each missile. So it's 1d4 plus 10 per missile.
The fuck? And the higher level you get more darts, don't you?
Yeah, up to 12. And you can stack that with, say, 2 levels of Fighter for Accent Surge for 2 max level magic missiles.
You can take off almost literally 50% of a Tarrasque's potential HP with that.
Ooh, it gets better, because you could also curse something.
SR.
You could also curse something with vulnerability to force damage.
No.
And then you can stack that with Overchannel from Evoker, which lets you roll max damage.
What the fuck? No.
There's other ways to optimize this even further, such as using Wish to duplicate things to get minions that you can make Wands of Magic Missile for. But,
oh my god.
But to suffice it to say, I stopped optimizing that sort of build when I could kill 30 Tiamats per round.
30 Tiamats per round?
Yeah.
Is it just from you as a damage source, or is it from multiple damage sources
minions.
you're controlling?
It's me plus minions, but
Jesus fucking Christ. What the hell?
And it scales from level 1 onwards. And just gets continuously better. Oh, okay. Yes. Casting Forbiddance is a good way to use Wish, but it's not the best way to use Wish. I get where you're going with this for, but there's an even shittier and more dick-headed version of this.
I need a quick bathroom break, so I'll be right back.
All right. I'll give you the quick rundown when we get back. So, you know what else is a thing that takes a long time to cast? Simulacrum. Simulacrum also doesn't specify that it has to be a friendly creature, just that it has to be in contact with you for the whole duration of the casting time, with Wish, that's just a single action. So what you do is you walk up to the big bad evil guy, touch him, cast Wish to duplicate Simulacrum, and now you have a half HP copy of the fucking final boss on your side that listens to your commands. Because... oh my god. Yeah, there's a reason none of the modules go that high, because... fucking hell. Simulacrum and Wish is just stupid. But it gets even worse with that if you want to do fucking Wish Simulacrum chaining. Fucking, okay. So you use Simulacrum to make a Simulacrum of yourself that has Wish. And then you have that Simulacrum use Wish to create a duplication of you, which will still have Wish prepared. And you can just keep doing that, and you just have Simulacrums wish for more Simulacrums of you, because you're not the one casting Simulacrum, they are, which means that they each have one Simulacrum, which then creates its own Simulacrum. And you keep doing that over and over and over, and then you have infinite wizards. Because, fuck you, anyone who thought the game worked at level 17 or higher. Oh my sweet Jiminy Crimbus. Crash course of the issues covered so far. A bunch of stuff. I will summarize both of these when Diggy gets back. Also, I forgot to say this, and Magpie's probably already gone, but have a good night, Magpie. And yes, there's also some dumb, stupid... How long do the Simulacrum clones last? Until destroyed. You can just spend a few days of prep time, have hundreds of thousands of clones of you with all of your spell slots, minus Wish. And just be like, yeah, I'm just gonna cast, let's say 20 bajillion 8th level magic missiles at the target. And that's it. They're fucked. That's the whole, they're gone. That's it. Nothing they can do. It's so dumb.
I arrive.
Oh, cool. I was talking about Simulacrum, which is balanced.
That word in itself already says that it's not balanced.
So, to summarize what we just went over, Pig was talking about using Wish to quick cast Forbiddance, which means that certain types of enemies are not allowed to be in there or they take a bunch of damage.
And then Simulacrum makes it so that they can't move out of the Forbiddance area.
No! Simulacrum just lets you make a copy of them that's on your side.
Oh.
So you just walk up to someone and wish Simulacrum the final boss, and now you have a half HP copy of the final boss as an ally.
No.
Yep! No saving throw to avoid it, nothing. That's just like, yeah, this guy, I want him on my side, he only has half HP.
Hello, not Strahd.
Yeah, you just walk up to Strahd, slap him, and now you have your own pet Strahd.
Do they have, is it just half HP? Do they still have, like, the full native boss resources?
They don't have their equipment, but if they have spell casting or abilities, they have those native resources, including legendary actions.
Okay.
But here's the even more fun part, which only works if you're a wizard. You can manually create a Simulacrum using the Simulacrum spell, which takes, like, 12 hours.
Okay.
And that Simulacrum will have Wish, if you had Wish. And the text of Simulacrum states that one person cannot have more than one Simulacrum made of themselves at a time. So if you cast a second Simulacrum of yourself, the first one would vanish.
Okay.
Your Simulacrum can use Wish to cast Simulacrum, though. And then your Simulacrum has a Simulacrum, and not you having to.
So you have infinite slots to cast more Simulacrums that don't have an upper limit.
Yes, you have infinite copies of your own wizard who has all of their spell slots except the 9th level one.
What the fuck?
Yeah, 5th edition is the balanced edition with wizards, yeah. And Arcana clerics can do this as well, starting at level 17.
Imagine if you could do that with Pathfinder and then just you have a crafting wizard. I could fucking get rich.
Right? Yeah, it's just... it's dumb, it's bad. It's 5th edition.
So, but the simulacrum, it's a limited area where it can exist, right? Is that the condition?
No.
No?
No.
No, what do you mean? It can just go places.
Yeah, you just make a demi-plane, spend, a few weeks there making a couple million copies of yourself, and then make a gate to the final boss place and just fucking nuke the whole place from orbit?
How long does a simulacrum character exist? What's the upper limit?
Until killed.
What?
Yep.
That's fucking broken.
They can't regenerate hit points, except for a very expensive process. But you can just make 10 million copies of yourself and just blow up anything, and then once they're all out of spell slots, have them retire as a mate or whatever.
That's a good way to get your DM to kick you out.
There's actually, they put in a specific rule in Adventuring League banning that because it's balanced. Oh, Russian bro, that is true. If you want to fight like a fighter, you could definitely just make a cleric that does it. But if you want to fight better than a fighter, you should probably go for wizard or Hex Blade.
A lot of people expect me to be the fighter and barbarian player. Make a wild guess which character I play the most.
Wizard.
No.
No.
I love clerics. Because I love utility classes. And I really like religious themed utility classes.
Understandable.
Now let me tell you about one of my favorite things I've ever done as a cleric.
Deal slut.
So I was playing a campaign where planes-based enemies like evil outsiders as the type are my enemy, right?
Right.
There is a specific cleric type that specializes against planes-based encounters.
Alright, same in 5th edition.
So at level 3, I don't really have a whole lot of skills per level. However, as a level 3 character in Pathfinder, I just have a straight up plus 15 to any planes-related check. So that means up until roughly level 13, CR 13 enemies, I can potentially and with little difficulty identify any kind of outsider up to CR 13.
Oh, actually, speaking of which, sorry, but that just reminded me of something fucking hysterical for Artificer. Very similar thing. So Artificers, they do not use arcane focuses or spell components to cast their spells. They have to use tools.
Okay.
So you can dispel something with thieves' tools, or a lockpick, or there's other tools, but you don't use them except thieves' tools. But the important part is, they have a feature that doubles their proficiency bonus to skill checks using that tool. Counterspell is a skill check that they used a tool to create.
So you get double the proficiency on counterspell.
And dispel magic by rules as written.
That's fucked up.
It's a complete oversight, but rules as written, they're just one of the best counterspellers out there for no fucking reason.
Is it a good cheese, or is it just I have this in my pocket in case the DM wants to dick me kind of cheese?
I mean, it's just, it is a tool in what would already be a very powerful arsenal.
Okay. So
it's just enemy spellcasters? Nah.
So let me return to the build I'm going to tell you about, and it's not going to be one of the most broken things out there, but it's more of one of those. The DM has to invent an entire encounter around it because it's that much of an intrusion kind of build.
Ah, okay.
So in Pathfinder, what's the most notable thing about holy types is that you can type your divine damage.
All right.
A lot of people are used to just, oh, it's divine, so clearly it probably does, good related shit. No, in Pathfinder, you can have 6 different types of channeling. Some of them are alignments, and some of them are just outlandish shit like oblivion damage, chaos damage, or neutral damage, or target all.
Okay.
Mine targets evil outsiders, and guess what? 90% of those fuckers are evil.
Ah. So like playing the, Death Cleric in, Strahd, basically.
Yeah, and the best part is that the difference between, at least I believe the difference is that you have a limit to how far you can penetrate through surfaces when you channel in 5th edition, right?
Right.
Yeah, no, that doesn't happen in Pathfinder. So, my crafting wizard ally can put me in a enchanted box.
Oh, God.
He can help me scry to see what's going on around me, and when he gives me the signal through a message tattoo on my skin, which lets him talk to me like a walkie-talkie, I can channel at level 3 11 times a day. I can do it at max dice rolls, and it targets only evil outsiders, and I can nuke them through walls, through objects, as long as it's not lead and metal. That's what most locations don't fucking have.
Ooh, that's a toughie. Could it be adamantium? Is that what they mostly don't have? Is that where you're going with this?
Fucking adamantine, and it's, believe it or not, adamantine isn't that fucking great in Pathfinder.
Really? Okay.
Like, it's good, but it's only good for enemies. Especially because some enemies are just naturally built with adamantine as a defense. But there's so many ways in Pathfinder to exploit defenses, which also works against you. But adamantine is so easy to fucking get around because if you just build a pure DPS monster, it doesn't fucking matter if you can't crit. It doesn't matter if it has spell resistance. But more importantly, adamantine can't do jack shit to holy type damage. Just divine damage, it doesn't. Adamantine ain't shit.
You know what adamantium does in 5th edition?
I don't know what it does in 5th edition.
Adamantium armor makes you immune to critical hits.
You know what's crazy is that in Pathfinder, a barbarian just passively can get that.
And adamantium weapons automatically deal critical hits when they're being used to attack objects. That's it.
Really?
Yep.
That sounds like it's potentially really fucking good shenanigans.
Theoretically, but you can't sunder stuff in 5th edition. There's no rules for it.
Oh, I'm not worried about that. It's more about the fact that exploiting strength rules and hardness rules, I could potentially shape terrain at rapid speed.
I mean, you could, or you could just take the Mold Earth cantrip.
Do they have a cantrip for that now?
Yeah, it's the Minecraft cantrip. Basically, you take a 5x5 area, 5x5x5 area of dirt and can move it.
I did not know that.
Yeah, so you just make a big old pit trap and then put a minor illusion on top of it and then lure someone into walking over it.
That'd be really good if you could get that on an item and then you make a silent image build Warlock.
I'm pretty sure a Warlock could take it, either with a feat or a single level dip. Not a huge thing.
Wait, could they? I don't know any single level dips that grant you a choice of your cantrip unless you mean just straight up getting the class that has it.
Oh yeah, just be a single level dip of Wizard or whatever. You don't have to use Prestidigitation to make sandcastles anymore. Correct! You can use Mold Earth to make a 5-foot tall sandcastle.
Which is a Chad castle.
Yeah!
Alright, so I'm going to run through classes, and I want you to pick your brain for what broken build you can think of that jumps immediately to mind.
In 5th edition?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's just, I'm not going to go in any particular order, it's just whatever's off the top of my head. Something that centralizes its build on the class.
Okay.
Paladin.
Oh my god. Paladins have so many fucking options. They are so good.
What's the most broken one you can think of?
I mean, probably the most broken would probably be a straight Vengeance and Draconic Sorcerer combo, but there's one in particular that I have an absolute love for.
Go on.
6 levels of Glory Paladin.
Explain what the Glory Paladin does.
It's the Chad Paladin. One of the tenets of its oath is don't skip leg day.
What the fuck?
I'm not. No, seriously. It's. I will fucking read it off for you. It is incredible.
Do it.
Oath. Tenets of glory. Hone the body. Like raw stone, your body must be worked so its potential can be realized. Literally a paladin oath about lifting.
What the fuck?
Strive to be known by glorious deeds, not words. Face hardships with courage and encourage your allies to face them with you. It's literally just an oath to, like, lift heavy and do cool shit.
So basically, it's what most people want to be a paladin, like, for.
It's the gym paladin.
That's amazing.
It's so good. It's a shame that's a little on the weaker side, but it's channel divinity. Gives you advantage on, you know, strength stuff and dex stuff, because you're the buff martial artist physical paladin.
Okay.
Yes, doubles your lifting, increases your high jump, gives you advantage on athletic.
Okay, where does this blend into the broken part?
Lore Bard. Lore Bard gets expertise, which lets them double their bonus for stuff, so you put that into athletics.
Okay.
They also get Cutting Words, which allows them to use a bardic inspiration to reduce someone else's skill check.
Oh no?
They also get Enlarge Reduce, which lets you go up a size category. So,
does size category increase your actual athletic potential in 5e?
It lets you grapple bigger things, which is where this is going with it.
Oh no.
You just, like, walk up to a giant and just bitch slap him onto the ground, and he can't do shit about it, because you've got, like, plus 30 to athletics and advantage, and he has, like, minus 10 to it.
What the fuck?
It's such a stupid fun grapple build. It's just like, yeah, I can do whatever the fuck I want, get bet.
It's literally a fucking Chad Paladin.
Yeah, literally.
We're all going to grapple it, brah.
We're all gonna make it. Well, he's gonna make it, because he doesn't really buff most other people, but he just, yeah, I wrestle giants, seamless. It's the I want to be Thor build.
I was expecting something more, like, convoluted and scary. This is just very upfront and, like, this is a front-loaded build. It doesn't require much explanation.
Yeah, you just get big muscles and start chucking bitches around. And the fun part about this is the suplexes.
You can suplex? What is that, like a slam attack?
You grab someone and jump.
Oh.
Your channel divinity gives you a bonus to jumping.
Oh no! Oh no!
So, let me open up the jump calculator real quick. Let's see, let's assume you focused mostly on strength or found a magic item to get it. You've got that, okay, probably slap jump on yourself, you can do the thing to get a plus 10, you can just choose the order of effect. So, with a running start, your high jump is 90 feet.
What the fuck?
So you just grab some sort of, like, storm giant, jump 90 feet in the air, and he takes 90 feet of fall damage on landing.
Do you let him go, or do you,
No, you're dragging with you the whole time.
Oh. Don't you also take that damage?
No, because you jumped rather than fell. It's involuntary movement on his part, so it's falling.
What is it, like 1d6 per 5 feet?
Yes, capped at 20d6. Yes, you are literally Satan from Final Fantasy. You can literally just grab a train and suplex it to kill it.
That's fucking disgusting.
Right?
100 and just a potential 120 damage, just like Lamal. Hold up a second.
Yes, as part of your movement.
That
you still get to make attacks.
What the fuck? Wait, Salty told me about this, I think.
Oh, did she?
Yeah, she told me about this. She knows how to do this in both fucking games, both in D&D and in Pathfinder.
Lovely. Yeah, it's an absolute riot. You know, Tiamat shows up, or even the Tarask shows up. You've got the lifting strength to be able to just grab it and suplex it, and you're just, I'm just gonna fucking suplex this guy a couple of times as part of my movement, and then I'm gonna start stabbing it.
Is there Ant Hall in D&D?
Ant Hall?
It just straight up increases your your strength score by like +8 for carrying capacity.
Oh, there's the brownie feat, but that's UA rather than published material, and it just doubles your carrying capacity straight.
So you could be even more of a fucking problem.
Yes. Actually, the Glory Paladin Channel Divinity that gives you advantage on grappling also doubles it natively into its stack.
That's fucked up.
It's so fun. Yes, you are literally leaping over small buildings and suplexing the Tarrasque. It's great.
I can be Omni-Man.
How about a broken D&D artifact if such a thing exists? Most of the broken D&D artifacts aren't broken in exciting ways.
Luck Blade being one of the examples I'd use.
I would pick the, there is the, Mizium Apparatus, which is one of my favorites.
I don't know that one.
If you have spell slots and the spell is on your list, you can cast it.
That's it?
There's technically an intelligence set that you have to make to use it, but it's so low that if you take Skill Expert, you can just always pass it automatically.
Okay.
So you play a wizard that gets a bunch of spell slots and have like one dip into Cleric, and now you can just at will cast any spell in the game.
That's disgusting.
Your prepared spell list is the spell list.
That is just gross.
It's so dumb. There's also the Illusionist Bracers, which, when you cast a cantrip, you can cast it as a bonus action.
What the fuck?
And then you can just cast it again as your main action. So you put that on a Warlock, and you're just like, yeah, I'm just gonna spam this shit all day. It means that on that stupid Warlock build that I had that shoots off 20 Eldritch Blasts per turn, you can just skip the fighter levels.
That's so
Oh my god.
That's so fucking... There's
also there's a bunch of items I read in Tasha's as well that add, like a +3 bonus onto your saving throw DC but you can only attune to them if you're the appropriate class.
Oh.
So like there's, +3 saving throw bonus for the Cleric, but it doesn't specify Cleric spells.
I see.
So you get, one of these for your main class, and then take a 1-level dip in another class to get that, and you can just completely break bounded accuracy and get your saving throw bonus DC so high that it's impossible to pass your saving throws.
So what would you ideally build to exploit this?
Wizard, obviously. Wizard with 1 level in Cleric.
Yeah, but like, what would your plan of attack be? Like, would you go straight DPS? Would you just go for like crippling and like barrage of debuffs? Like, what would you want to do? Like,
I'd probably just banish everyone and just be like, whatever, you're not my problem anymore. Or, plane shift them to the plane of fire. Shit like that.
That's... I just banish everybody. I don't want to fucking do this encounter.
Yeah, at-will banish that never fails. It's fun.
Imagine banishing Strahd.
It has a really high charisma save, but it is possible. Yes, you're literally just sending people to the Shadow Realm.
So what's the most broken enemy in 5th edition that you know of?
It's not broken strong, but it's broken as in doesn't function.
Oh?
The Yochlol.
What's that?
Let me pull up its specific stat block to see if I remember it correctly. Shit, Changer, Chaotic Evil, Mist Form, yes, here we go. It is a type of demon, but that doesn't matter. What matters is that it has the ability to transform into a toxic mist.
Okay.
Mist Form. The Yochlol transforms into a toxic mist or reverts to its true form, as an action. And the equipment it is wearing or carrying, blah 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 blah. While in mist form, the Yochlol is incapacitated and can't speak.
Okay, doesn't the fact it can't speak mean it can't dismiss itself?
It can't dismiss itself, and the fact that it's incapacitated means that it can never untransform because it takes an action, and it can't take actions while incapacitated.
That's stupid!
Yep! Rules as written, it transforms into mist, and it's stuck there forever.
That's fucking funny.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what's the strongest enemy you know of? Like, are there any enemies you potentially don't want to put up with?
No?
Really? D&D has no actual, like, super threatening encounters that you can think of off the top of your head?
Genuinely in 5th edition, 30 goblins that are spaced out so you can only fireball one of it at a time is more dangerous than the Tarot.
So it's more of circumstance as opposed to stat block.
It's mostly numbers. The more numbers that the enemy has and the more turn economy works against you, the more you lose.
It is me, Gooseberry, yes.
This is why I had like a level 3... Like, you make a team of like level 3 paladins take out Strahd pretty easily.
I actually watched a full transcription of a full paladin party going through Strahd.
Oh boy!
And the DM willingly agreed to it because he knew it would be a shit show, but he wanted to see just how much of a shit show it was. And to make it even funnier, they all went halfling paladin.
Oh man.
They still won. None of them died.
I mean, that's fine. Halflings are strong. They can re-roll failed saves, which is bullshit.
Exactly. That's why they took them.
I mean, Banshees do have a thing that lets... Power Fat. It does have a whale that if everyone fails a pretty easy con save, then they all drop to 0?
Oh, that's scary.
But it's a DC 13.
That's really hard to fuck up.
Yeah. I had a fucking wizard who would pass that on a 1.
So what's the strongest character build you've ever made? Like something that you didn't summon from a forum that nobody told you about, one that you just kind of like assembled on your own.
Oh, that would have been that fucking... That Maiden actually played would easily be that one fucking stupid fighter wizard with Polearm Master, Warcaster, and Infinite AC.
Oh, you slap that one together on your own and you're just like, this'll do.
Yeah, it's just like, okay, so I have infinite hit points, I've got a minimum of +4 to my weakest saves and +17 to my good ones. In a system where the math goes only up to 11.
Okay.
I can haste myself and then start just making attacks like I was a fighter.
So...
My only weakness was that he had terrible hit points, but that was a deliberate weakness I left in because it's more interesting to have a weakness rather than none whatsoever.
Are you like building in your Achilles heel? I do that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like doing that a lot. Basically, that one build I told you where it's just infinite intimidates and fears is that if you're a construct or a mindless creature or undead, I don't work. I have to go full ham on my own.
Yep. Oh, actually, there's also another thing I really want to bring up, which I find hilarious.
Go on.
The lore on Death and Grave Clerics is broken compared to the mechanics.
I actually haven't played a Death or Grave Cleric.
Alright, Grave Clerics are about protecting the sanctity of the barrier between life and death and blah, 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 blah. They're an anti-undead cleric.
Okay.
All of their mechanics keep people from dying, and that's it. They don't really have any way to deal with things that are actually undead.
What? What?
Death clerics, meanwhile, are the clerics that are focused about worshipping undeath and making zombies.
So they're a soft necromancer?
Yeah. I mean, harder because they have armor proficiencies, but yeah, so the necromancer paladin. They have features like Touch of Death, which lets them deal a bunch of necrotic damage to people. And Inescapable Destruction, which means that you can't avoid the necrotic damage. And you know what resists necrotic damage?
Not a whole lot that I remember.
Undead.
Oh.
Their skills and abilities are oriented towards killing undead, mechanically.
So essentially they don't have narrative cohesion.
Yes, both of these do almost the opposite of what they say they do.
What the fuck? So it's a Greenland Iceland but in class form.
Yes. It's pretty great. I mean, barbarians are the same way. They're one of the physically weakest classes in terms of like lifting stuff. And their class flavor says that they have incredible feats of strength.
So I love playing barbs once in a great while, but 5e's barbarians look so dog shit to me that I never want to touch them.
I mean, there's ways to make good barbarians, it's just that you have to not play them like a barbarian.
But that's the problem, I want to be Ooga Booga.
Well, get fucked.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Straight
Get
up.
fucked.
Like, their fucking unarmored AC is trash.
Yeah, like It's not even worth it, and their HP cannot compensate for that shitty lack of armored class. Like, it just doesn't.
But they get medium armor proficiency, so obviously what you want to do is stick them in half plate. And because they have damage per hit, what you want to do is take the Polearm Master feat to get an extra attack. So the ideal barbarian is a tanky skirmisher that uses a long-range polearm while wearing armor.
So, a fighter, but different flavor.
A fighter, except they move faster and have more hit points.
Do they... Are barbarians even worth taking beyond that?
Oh, barbarians don't get class features past, like, level 6.
So, they're just doo-doo, caca, fuck them.
They're pretty strong for, like, the first 6 levels, but, like, fucking brutal critical. Holy shit, brutal critical. So, when you land a critical hit, which is 1/20th of the time because there's no expanded crit range native to 5th edition or to barbarians.
Okay.
You have to roll an extra weapon die.
Okay. Alright, I can see there's potential in there. So, you want to multi-class a barbarian?
No, because it's you have a 1 in 20 chance of adding 4 damage to one of your attacks.
As a weapon die? Doesn't that... I thought weapon die means that you'd double what you'd actually be swinging as per your weapon.
No, it's just the die. Your rage bonus doesn't apply to it. Your strength bonus doesn't apply to it. It's just 4 damage.
That's bad.
Yeah. And they get this class feature multiple times, each time increasing the number of dice. Eventually getting up to, a 1 in 20 chance of adding 12 damage to one attack.
That's
which
embarrassing.
Works out to an average of half a point of damage.
That's so bad. That's embarrassing. What the fuck?
Yeah. And that's pretty much all their high level features are.
I'd rather just be a melee cleric.
Right?
Like what the? Like Forge cleric can out DPS that.
Yeah, I mean, dude, when it comes to melee DPS, the characters are the best at it.
Like, I'm so mad that Barbarian and Ranger get shafted so hard. I don't care about fighters, they can take a hike. I'm so mad that Barbarians and Rangers are so doo-doo trash, but at least, at minimum, in 5th edition, they really tried on the Rangers to do something with them, and they're highly customizable, right?
They're very highly customizable.
Rangers are just really good if you want to do a gimmick and nothing else.
I mean, there is some cool shit you can do with Ranger, but also, Akami, thank you so much for the follow.
Akami, the snake lady?
No, a Kami.
Oh, a Kami, okay.
I don't tell this to a lot of people, Akami. In fact, you're the only person I've ever told it to. No, the snake lady. Okay, yes, it is the snake lady. Oh, crap. A verified badge in chat. Gonna have to leech that clout later. I don't tell this to a lot of people, Akami. In fact, you're the only person I've ever told it to, but you're actually my favorite follower. That's right, my number 1.
I still love seeing the Bone Pog in chat.
It's such a good emote.
It's so funny.
Because snakes are my favorite animal. Also, welcome. I'm complaining about 5th edition, and it's funny.
Yeah, we're just kind of musing at 5th edition how incompetently it's been written.
Yeah, let's see. Pick another class and I can tell you the stupid shit in it. It'll be great. Oh, actually, no, you brought up Ranger. I have a fucking hysterical Ranger build.
Alright, go ahead.
Hunter Ranger, PHP.
Okay.
Using the new features from Tasha's.
I don't know anything about Tasha, so hit me.
Alright, one of them is Nature's Veil, which lets you, as a bonus action, become invisible.
Okay.
But only until the start of your next turn. It's supposed to use... It's like how, rogues can hide and run away. This just lets you become invisible.
At what level?
This is your 10th level ability.
That's still...
But you can do it a bunch of times, and this combines with Heavy Weapon Master.
That's fucked up already.
So so you can just power attack to get advantage on it for free really easily. Also, welcome, Little Lady Red. Level 3 collected at 21 passive perception. Yeah, that's the Observant feat for you.
Observant is so busted.
Mm-hmm. But here's the other fun part. It's specifically a Hunter-Ranger thing, because this is such a dumb but technically true reading of this stuff.
Okay.
So they get a ability at 11th feet level. They can pick one of two things. One of them is Whirlwind Attack.
Alright.
Whirlwind Attack reads, you can use your action to make a melee attack against any number of creatures within 5 feet of you, with a separate attack roll for each target.
Okay.
So, obviously what it's supposed to be doing is you attack everyone within 5 feet of you and nothing else. So, the rules for breaking up your attack state that whenever you make any attack, any action, that involves multiple weapon attacks, you can break up your movement between each one.
What's the potential maximum movement between targets?
30 feet if you don't take stuff like Mobile or Zephyr Strike, but you can take stuff like Mobile or Zephyr Strike.
This is all in one turn.
Yes, so on one turn you turn invisible and then move 80 feet and run around the battlefield making an attack at everything that you pass by, and you can't get hit with opportunity attacks back because you're invisible. And just make a power attack, one power attack, at literally everything that passes by.
What the fuck?
It's so anime, and it's not actually that good, but it's so anime and cool. You vanish, you reappear behind somewhere else, and they all just take a bunch of damage and fall over and die. That's cool as hell.
That is cool.
Also, Little Lady Red redeemed Get a Compliment. I'm gonna leave that one to you, mithrildiggy, because you're my co-host, and it'll be more funny that way.
Is this still a say-so stream?
You know what? Go nuts.
You got a nice dumpy.
Okay.
There you go.
That's not too unsafe stuff. That's fine.
I leashed it in.
You leashed it in.
I leashed it in. But
and notice this isn't actually that broken a build because it's Ranger, but it's a really cool technical reading of something that does work rules as written and is anime as shit.
So, I'm trying to think, which ranger is it that can phase through walls?
I don't know if any of them can.
There is one that can go through very small, like, thin walls. I think it's Horizon Walker or something like that?
Horizon Walker does get teleports.
It's like, I swore there was, when I was playing, there was something that says that it can pass through objects or something like that.
Oh, yes, you can cast Etherealness.
Yeah. Is there any way to exploit that you know of that's, like, insanely busted, or is it just more of a utility on its own?
Etherealness by itself is super busted, but they limit it to one turn, which means that it's just bad.
So you don't know of any way to exploit that, like, right out of the gate?
Nope. I mean, there's some really stupid shit you can do with, like, Gloomstalker and Assassin and,
Gloomstalker is the one that's meant to be, like, an underground sniper, right?
Right.
Okay, tell me about what you know of Gloomstalker, because I've been wanting to play one for a while.
Dread Ambush. They add their Wisdom to Initiative. And at the start of combat, their walking speed increases by 10 feet, and they get an extra attack at the start of combat.
What the fuck? Okay.
So, then you take Assassin Rogue.
Alright.
When it surprises someone, all of their attacks become automatic critical hits.
Oh no!
So you take 5 levels of Gloomstalker to get extra attack, and then an extra attack from the ambush, and then something like Polearm Master or, I don't know, Sharpshooter or Crossbow Expert to get an attack with your bonus action, so that's 4 attacks right off the bat, all of which are criticals.
But that's strictly at the beginning of a round.
Yes, the opening round you get 4 free critical hits.
Oh, man.
So then what you do is you take 2 levels of good old Fighter for Action Surge.
So, that's the thing that really makes me mad about Assassin, is that the only reason you'd ever take an Assassin is to be something that isn't just a regular rogue for one round of combat, and that's so... It's so...
Yes, and their higher level features are you can use disguise kits.
That's stupid!
It's so bad!
Like, Assassin is bad!
It's
except
so bad.
for one cheese instance.
Yeah, it has one really good 3-level tip, but here's where it gets even more fun with Gloomstalker. So you're up to 7 automatic critical hits so far, right?
Okay.
And then you dip Swords Bard.
College of Swords?
Yes, to get Flourishes, which add dice, which get multiplied with a critical hit.
So what's the highest potential damage on attack?
Oh god, when you add in a Battle Master and possibly Paladin, it gets to something like mid 4 digits, because of it's like 7 attacks, all of which crit and have a bunch of extra dice.
I'm not,
It's just, you pick a target at the start of combat that's surprised and delete it.
And you can just have a wizard hit you with invisibility to make sure this happens.
You could, but Gloomstalkers are invisible in darkness.
What the? No! They're just natively invisible in darkness.
Let me read out the freaking thing for you.
That's so exploitable.
While in darkness, you're invisible to any creature that relies on dark vision to see you in that darkness.
Oh my god.
So yes, they're just straight up invisible. And this fun part about this is it just doesn't end when they're incapacitated.
Really? So
Yes.
when you go down, you're also invisible.
Yes, which can be kind of a pain in the ass for healing you because they can't see you.
That's fucking funny.
It is really goofy.
Oh! I remembered something I wanted to tell you about in Pathfinder that a friend of mine surprised me with recently. So,
Oh?
are you familiar with the Aid Another action?
No, I've never played Pathfinder for any real particular way.
So let me tell you what Aid Another is, and it's kind of fucking dumb. It's up front, it's dumb, it's useless. Like, no, never waste an action on it unless you're like passively helping somebody with crafting, right?
Gotcha.
You have to roll a melee attack or something. Like, nobody knows why, and you have to hit a 10 in order to make sure it goes through. Minimum.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Nobody knows fucking why. It's dumb. But
Gotcha.
all it gives you is like a +2 or a +4, depending on the circumstance, to what you're doing. Pretty easy, pretty straightforward. But there is a subclass when you get into the mythic system, which, I don't know if you remember epic and mythic bullshit from 3.5, how dumb that is.
Slightest. I mean, I remember bits of it. It's like you get extra things past 20.
Oh yeah, and it's its own like set of levels you tack on to a character.
Right.
But you can use the Aid Another action to do things like voluntarily take a hit for somebody as long as you're within a certain distance.
All right.
You can use it to buff your own or somebody else's checks. It doesn't matter what. You can use it to raise your AC. You can use it to give yourself more movement speed or an ally more movement speed.
Gotcha.
And all you have to do in order to get this pool of instances that you can use first to augment your first aid is just take one turn recharging it.
Yeah.
And you can do it as many times as you fucking want.
You know, that's funny. There's an almost identical thing in 5th edition.
Really? What's up, Mechanic Cat?
Hey, Mechanic Cat. Morning. It's, alright, so the way it works is that there's a UA race, Feywild Hobgoblin.
Feywild Hobgoblin.
Which had the ability to do, like, one of 3 things when they help someone with a bonus action.
Okay.
But they had another feature that lets them help someone as a bonus action, like, up to 6 times per day.
Excuse me?
Yeah, so, like, up to 6 times per day, they could spend a bonus action to give someone advantage on an attack roll, and they would get, like, 1d6 hit points. It's not really that impressive.
It's not impressive, but the potential use of it in the right situation could be a nightmare for a DM.
I mean, sure, but for most levels people play, it's gonna be like 2 to 4 times a day. They get a d6 for temporary hit points.
Oh, I was talking about the advantage part, not the d6.
I mean, advantage is whatever, you can get that easy. But
yeah.
Mastermind Rogues
I love Mastermind Rogue.
have a class feature that lets them use help as a bonus action at will.
Oh, I didn't remember that.
At range as well, so they can just be like, yeah, so everyone, I'm just gonna help you all once before the fight, and now I'm just gonna help you once as a bonus action for the entire fight. Now you all get hit points every round for free, forever.
That's really good.
Yeah, it was like really broken when it came out, and now it's kind of mediocre because Twilight Cleric does that better, just without any power gaming.
Okay, tell me about Twilight Cleric.
Oh, right, yeah, so Twilight Cleric is one of the few subclasses that I personally ban.
Really?
Yes, Twilight and Peace.
Okay, tell me why you ban these. Like, go from top to bottom. I want to hear you gut it.
I mean, they're all, like, there's a bunch of small things in them, like how Twilight Clerics get full proficiencies for no particular reason. 300 feet of dark vision instead of 30, which was thought to be a typo at first, but no, that was intended.
What the fuck?
They can share that dark vision with the entire party.
Why?
Yeah. And at second level, oh boy, at second level, they just break. Because that was their first level features right there. That was their first level features. 300 feet of dark vision.
Wait,
they give it to the whole party.
Does the party experience it passively within a range, or?
No, they just have it.
They just, okay.
As an action, you can magically share it within creatures up to 10 feet of you. It
What's
lasts
the timer?
for an hour.
An hour.
Lasts for an hour, and you can't
see.
do so again until you spend a spell slot.
What the fuck? So you could just power up an entire optimized human feat-based party.
Yes.
That's busted.
With higher range dark vision than anything else in the entire game. And just snipe at them from a distance and they can't see shit.
Okay.
This is their first level feature.
Alright.
This is their least broken feature.
Okay.
Second level. When they use their Channel Divinity, they get dim light in a radius around them.
Okay.
And whenever a creature ends its turn, including themselves in the sphere, they get temporary hit points equal to 1d6 plus their cleric level.
Alright. That's already very front-loaded.
There is no limit to this. They can just give you temporary hit points to the entire party every single round for a full minute.
Wait, so does it come... When you say for a full minute, does the HP last an entire minute, or is it constantly replenishing?
It constantly replenishes every single round.
That's broken!
That's broken as fuck, but it gets even better.
Okay.
Because when they first get at level 2, they can only do this roughly once every 2 fights. Only once every 2 fights, you know.
Okay. Why every 2 fights?
Because you're supposed to get a short rest every 2 fights, roughly.
Okay, alright.
And they can only do it once per short rest, until they hit level 6 and get their next class feature. Which means they can now use it twice between fights. So, it's an always-on, things take 1d6 plus their cleric level less damage every single round, the entire party.
I'm getting angry. Like, just thinking about that.
And now, while this is active,
this got past UE.
Yes. Now their 6th level feature, which is even more broken, when they do that, everyone gets when they do that whole bullshit where everyone gets hit points forever.
Uh-huh.
They also now just get a flight speed.
What do you mean they just get a flight speed?
You magically give yourself a flying speed equal to your walking speed for 1 minute.
It's just a class feature.
Yeah, it's just a class feature. When they use their thing that gives everyone tons of hit points, they also just can start flying.
So not only can they just be an HP battery that gives them virtually unlimited dark vision because no person is going to load that big of a map with that much clear space on a fucking D20 map, like a Roll20 map, by the way.
Yep. So they give the entire party
infinite... They can't be hit by melee characters.
Yes. They have infinite hit point battery at second level, infinite dark vision at first level, a functionally infinite flight at 6th level.
Hmm.
And at 17th level, when they do that thing that gives everyone ridiculous amounts of hit points, they all now have half cover.
What do you mean only?
That's their final and least broken feature. They get it at 17th level.
Well, what else is there that's broken?
Their domain spells.
What do they get?
Well, sleep at first level.
No fuck.
Which, that's one of the best first level spells at early game. That's really good.
Yeah.
Third level, they get Moonbeam, which is one of the strongest second level spells for its druid only normally, which is just passive damage on a target as a bonus action for a minute.
Isn't it also in an area?
Yes, it's a 2x2 AoE of 2d10 radiant damage for a minute as a bonus action.
And it operates as a vertical cone, which means you could also hit something flying with it, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct!
What the fuck?
At a 5th level, they get a Paladin exclusive spell, Aura of Vitality.
No.
Means that as a bonus action, they can have anyone nearby regain 2d6 hit points.
How many times per day?
As many as they have 3rd level spell slots, and it lasts a minute.
So they just have on demand like a pseudo cure moderate wounds.
They have Cure Moderate Wounds as a bonus action for a minute, once and whenever they use a 3rd level spell slot for this, on top of the 1d6 Cure Minor Wounds temporary hit point to everyone forever. Making them the best healer by far.
Oh, Hey,
Simple Walker 32, we're talking about balance in 5th edition, but you know what else they get at 5th level?
What?
Liamin's Tiny Hut.
What does that mean?
Oh, it's basically, you create a shelter that lasts for 8 hours. Lets you sleep comfortably anywhere, and they can just do this. This is one of the best perks of being a wizard, because you can just do this as a ritual. This guy can just do it as a ritual as a cleric.
So you're telling me per round?
It has a 11-minute casting time for the Liamin's Tiny Hut, but yes, per round they can...
As if that matters, because you're not going to use that in the middle of a fight.
Right?
Like, why even bother putting a fucking cast time on it at that point?
Right?
So you're telling me, okay, so you can heal potentially like something, I don't know, let's just ballpark like, maybe like, being generous, like 20 damage at will to just anybody on the field, including the tiny heal, but everybody else is also building the barriers.
Yes, and this also applies to yourself.
Yeah.
And you're forgetting that 20 would actually be a low roll because they add their cleric level to it?
They add, oh. What the fuck?
Yeah! It basically roughly doubles to triples the entire HP of the party. Forever.
And not only that, most of these classes that you're going to be playing with usually have a temp H mechanic shield, like, to go with what they're already doing. If I'm not mistaken,
Some of them do, I wouldn't say most.
Like 5e didn't rule out stacking temp HP shields, if I remember correctly.
They don't add, they replace each other, unfortunately.
Do they? Okay.
Yes.
It's still broken, but at least you can't stack it.
You can't stack it, but, like, the first 10 damage of any given round is prevented, roughly. And then they can start healing. And that's 10 damage to everyone in the party.
And that's
what, up to level
That's just level 5.
That's level 6, but yes. At level 6, essentially a low roll and a fireball does nothing.
What the fuck?
Right?
Is that the worst of it, or is there more?
No! We have even more Broken Domain spells.
Okay.
I mean, Greater Invisibility, which isn't normally a cleric spell and is just all-around good spell, that's kind of whatever. But they also get Circle of Power at 9th level.
I don't know Circle of Power.
Paladin exclusive spell that is super powerful for its level to make up for the fact that Paladins only get it at the final tier of the game.
Yeah. Okay. So what does it do?
Every friendly creature in the area has advantage on saving throws.
Is that
and if they take half damage from a successful saving throw, they take none instead.
So Lamau rogues are like, haha, funny.
Yes. Party-wide evasion and advantage on all throws.
That's fucked up.
Yeah!
That's just better Circle of Heroism.
Yes! And they get it earlier.
On a cleric.
On a cleric, and they get it earlier and do it more times per day.
Who made this?
Right? Like, Jesus Christ.
This sounds like a fucking homebrew.
Yes. Oh my god.
It sounds like a fucking homebrew.
Yep. And they're like, you don't even need to do anything fancy to make that thing completely broken. Just play it and use Channel Divinity. Congratulations, you're overpowered. Oh, and one thing I forgot to mention. Instead of restoring hit points to someone, you can just end negative effects on them, like Charmed or Frightened or whatever.
Okay.
And if it crops up and it doesn't cost any actions, it's just like, oh, well, someone got dominated? Nah.
Oh.
There's no saving throw or attempt to resist. It's just like, nah, they don't take anything.
Alright, so what's the potential... Wait. Is the thing where you can target allies for healing, is it written as allies specifically?
Allies including yourself.
Okay. Because I was like, does that mean you could fucking AoE heal undead? Because if so...
Oh, undead don't suffer from healing in 5th edition, unfortunately.
Oh, they... Man.
I know, it's so lame.
Man. Come on.
So
that was like one of the best parts of being a healing class, is that you had an option versus at least one type.
I mean, clerics in 5th edition just slap on Spirit Guardians and just melt everything, so...
I guess it's not that big of a deal, but man. So what's the other class that you ban?
Peace Cleric.
What does it do?
At first level, you can choose a number of willing creatures. They get a d4 to their rolls.
A d4?
It's same as Blast. Which, I mean, that's a really substantial bonus that remains relevant for the entire game, because the game goes from +5 to +11, and adding a +2.5 to that, that's huge.
Are you allowed to exceed the +11 limit?
Yeah, the +11 is just the intended design limit. You can get way past it.
Miss Red has a question.
Oh, that's just my apartment. It's just what it's like around here. I know it's not very nice looking. It's affordable at least.
I'm still discomforted by the side that I'm covering.
It's fine.
But
yeah, because this bonus is not concentration, they can stack it with a plus, and everyone gets +2d4 to their attack rolls and saving throws.
Alright.
So an average of +5 in a system where +11 is considered epic.
And there's no real, like, axis-based damage in this game, right?
No.
So you can exceed the +11 with this easily.
Mm-hmm. I mean, if you get a good roll, you can exceed it at level 1.
So, what else is there besides this? I'm worried.
Oh, the second level feature is great. Oh, man.
Okay.
You move up to your speed without provoking opportunity attacks, and every creature you pass by gets a bunch of hit points, 2d6 plus wisdom modifier.
I'm sorry, run that by me again?
You heal 2d6 plus wisdom to the whole party and get yourself out of dodge.
What do you have to use to make this happen?
Your channel divinity, so you can only do it, once per combat, roughly.
That's still really big.
Yep.
That's relevant up to like level 10 in terms of numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Which most people aren't playing past that
feature. Their 6th level feature, oh my god.
Okay.
Oh boy. So, that thing that gives everyone a d4?
Mm-hmm.
You can use your reaction to, anyone who's affected by that plus d4 can just swap places with someone else and take that damage instead.
Within 5-foot range?
30 feet.
30 what?
It's just they teleport places.
You can voluntarily teleport, swap, and take damage.
No, not you.
Not
Anyone
you?
in the party.
What?
Yes! The barbarian with damage resistance can be teleported into the position of anyone that's about to get hit and take the damage for them.
That's just defensive blink.
Yes, and it works for everyone, and you can have it on all the time, starting level 6.
Oh.
Also, yes, Red, he's come over to visit.
Apparently they want excellent advice as well.
I have no... Yeah, she redeems the wrong thing sometimes.
Oh,
all
okay.
right, Simple Walker, have a fun at work, if that's even possible.
Have a fun at work.
Yes. Oh, yes, and at 17th level, which no one actually sees, the range of the protective stuff doubles to 60, and also everyone counts as having resistance to damage while it's up.
What?
Yeah, it's just, everyone takes just half damage. Also, they can just spread it to whoever has the most hit points.
I have to spec into a Paladin subclass to achieve a half damage, and it's within a limited range, and I still take full damage from it, but you're telling me everybody, including you, gets half damage.
Yep.
with heals, with a +5 to attack.
Yep.
Is this just pure classing, or do you plan on multi-classing this?
This is a single class Peace Cleric.
Single class. What the fuck?
You know what's even more fun about this?
What?
Splitting the damage between people with Protective Bond stacks with the Twilight Cleric's temporary hit points.
Wait, you can multi-class Twilight?
No, but you can have a Peace Cleric and a Twilight Cleric in the same party.
Whoa, no, that's a nightmare.
Which means that basically everyone has twice HP and also don't take damage.
Yeah, because you're absolutely just regenerating any possible slivers that come through. So the only thing your DM could possibly do is pray a check will take you out on some effect.
No, what the DM has to do is just add in an enemy that casts Fireball every single round on the party without hitting any of his allies.
I'm so lost.
That's the only way to counteract this much defense. It's so busted.
I'm so lost because, like, even as I wouldn't consider myself like I've played a long time, I have experience. I'm not saying I'm perfect with numbers, but I have made homebrew classes from scratch just to test my mechanical, like, balancing skills, just for the sake of seeing, like, can I make something and can I make it work to make it, in line with everything else.
So what you're saying is you've done more homework brew as a test than Wizards of the Coast has in their official products?
Yeah, and this wouldn't fly within the first 2 levels of either of these fucking classes.
Yeah, +5 to everything, ain't that fun?
You should at most give people like a +2, unless it's a dedicated class feature with very low limitations per day.
Yeah, now imagine being able to do that to the whole group.
And yeah, you do it to everybody, and you refill their HP, and you can have somebody else fucking temp shield them, and give them infinite fucking dark sight. With flying! You just invalidate a one class of attacker entirely.
No, you invalidate HP damage and then also a class of attackers.
Yeah, and say Who fucking approved of this? How did this get out of UE? Nobody told them?
Right? Oh my god.
Nobody told them?
Was that?
They've had years to fix this too? Are these not new?
I mean, they're new, but they were in UA ages ago. And they didn't nerf them at all.
So, what's the most broken possible build like that you can pair these classes to, like in terms of like race and like feats, etc.?
The closest it's possible to get to Twilight Cleric's amount of HP regeneration would be a lore bard that takes their first level in Life Cleric to get Disciple of Life, to add 2 plus the spell's level onto each tick of Aura of Vitality that he sniped off of the Paladin spell list. Note that these are all things that the Twilight Cleric just gets natively, and you only get something competitive rather than superior to.
So, what's the most broken combination of things to put on these band classes, like in terms of like race and feats? What would you do to optimize these already broken things?
It doesn't fucking matter. Like Warcaster, I guess, if they don't lose concentration on Bless.
So essentially, you just optimize them to make sure their already existing features never fail.
Yes.
Okay.
It's balanced. It's balanced.
I'm like, hold it. You can't see me, but I'm like, my face is in my hands. Because I'm like, think of the absolute potential. Like, you can invalidate the entire premise of Tomb of Annihilation just by playing one of these, let alone 2.
Yep.
That's a meat grinder module, by the way.
Yep. Yes, the meat grinder is just deal no damage instead. It's balanced.
Alright, so let's move on to another class that you can possibly... Are my hands covered in blood? No. My arms are burned. My arms are scarred and burned. Like, I have innately the character that I'm using as my VTuber just is in tune with fire for reasons.
So pick another class.
It's literally hot. So Druid.
Oh, man. I mean, there's the Moon Druid.
Go on.
There's the PHB Druid. Starting at 2nd level, you can wild shape into stuff.
That's it?
Right, but alright, so let's say you're 2nd level as a Moon Druid.
Okay.
And you wild shape into, what was it? Black Bear? Let me check its stats real quick. Come on. Let's see. Brown Bear, that's the one.
E-Ghost, I'm pretty sure the temp HP does go away at the end of the duration. The problem is the length of time in which you can keep it up during a battle specifically.
The Twilight Cleric's temp HP go away when they're spent or at the end of a long rest.
Excuse me, the end of a long rest?
Yes!
What?
If you finish a battle with the thing active, the temp HP lasts until the next fight.
That's dumb!
Yes!
It gets worse!
It's so bad. But yes, at
What's
2nd
wrong?
level, a druid, a Moon Druid, can just wild shape into a Brown Bear, which has 34 hit points. And a multi-attack.
And bonuses to grapple, if I'm not mistaken.
Not in this game, but no, it just has 34 hit points and can deal 19 damage per round in melee.
On
At
average
2nd
or
level.
total?
Average 19 damage.
The fuck?
At the same level, when a fighter would be lucky to hit 7 damage per round. And would be lucky to have fucking 18 hit points. It's just as good as 2 fighters.
That's fucked up. What's like the... Is that the broken part, or is there more?
I mean, that is how it completely breaks the early game. Like, someone once said that if the party is level 2 and you have a Moon Druid in the party, you could give the Moon Druid the ability to cast Meteor Swarm at will without affecting game balance.
Okay.
Which is fair. It really is fair. It's twice the hit points and twice the damage of a fighter. Of equivalent level. Just whenever you need it.
What's the duration at which this stays up? And if I'm not mistaken, in 5th edition specifically, when your HP ends as a transformation, it doesn't affect your native body HP.
Correct.
Okay.
Let's see. A number of hours equal to half your druid level.
So
at level 2, you do it for an hour, and then you can short rest and get it all back.
And even then, that's amounting to, at level 2, a 60 rounds.
Yep.
60 fucking Oh my god.
No, not 60, 600.
600. What?
It's an hour. It lasts for an hour.
Right. Oh my god. Wait, I thought each round represented 6 seconds of time.
Yes, but it lasts for an hour.
Oh no. That's
yeah,
worse.
So that just stays pretty dumb until about 10th level when you can transform into elementals. At which point wild shapes are kind of shit and you have, full spell casting and want to be a spellcaster. But there's a particular dickishness you can do with the earth elemental form.
Okay.
You can glide through rocks or dirt or whatever.
Earth glide. Oh, I remember that.
And have a 10-foot reach. Hey, Tired Coffee Guy. Yeah, well, I mean, the DM isn't winning at D&D. He's losing at it, and he's very upset about it. But yes, we are winning at D&D.
I'm not immune. I'm still kind of emotionally recovering from the clerics.
But the thing is, you can just go underneath a rock, right? You're not visible to anyone and not a valid target, complete cover.
And you can't be targeted by literally anything except an AoE spell, potentially. And I don't even think it registers.
You have complete cover from AoE spells, so you're immune to it.
Oh my god.
And you have a 10-foot reach.
Yeah, not only
you
that,
go underneath the ground, and you have dark vision and tremor sense, so you just like, oh, there's a guy above me, slap, never being exposed.
I'm pretty sure you can also cast spells because you can see through the rocks.
You cannot cast spells while wild shaped until later on.
Okay. But what the fuck?
Yes, so you just wild shape, turn into the ground, now you have complete cover, you're an unseen attacker. They can't even target you with any attack, and you can just attack them at will.
For an equal amount of hours to half your level.
Yes, so for now you can do it. You can just stay in this form for 5 hours at a time.
Which is already at level 4. You have more than enough round time per day.
Yes, and this is at level 10, and it's just you're just an invincible warrior if you're in a place with rocks or dirt.
Oh my god. I'm having a stroke.
Oh, but if you think that's fun... Oh my god, their final feature.
Okay.
At 20th level, you can use your wild shape an unlimited number of times.
Cool!
Additionally, you ignore the verbal and somatic components of your druid spells.
Wait,
and you can cast them while wild shape.
You wild shape silent cast spells, and you are infinitely able to be transformed.
Correct, and because you can transform as a bonus action, if someone somehow managed to target you because you're underground as an earth elemental, you get knocked back to your hit points of normal being a human, and then could use one of your infinite wild shapes to go back to being an earth elemental as a bonus action, and then cast a spell.
I don't like that.
You have infinite hit points and permanent silent and still spells.
I don't like that's just fucking free meta magic.
Yeah, it's free meta magic forever.
That's fucked up.
Yeah.
I don't like it. All right, let's see. What's another class? Rogue. What's the most broken rogue like build that you know of?
I mean, there's a couple of really good ones, but Rogue doesn't just break the game in half because it's not a spellcaster.
Okay, fair. But do you know anything that is still like an absolute plague upon your DM?
Arcane Trickster.
Okay, explain.
You got illusion magic.
Oh boy.
One of the illusion spells is Shadow Blade.
Doesn't that mean like you can make an illusion that deals actual damage, or am I thinking of something else?
Actual psychic damage.
Oh my god.
It's a finesse weapon, which makes it compatible with sneak attack.
Oh, you can do that at distance!
Yes! And sneak attack just adds to the base weapon's damage type, which means you're dealing pure psychic damage.
I don't like that.
Then you just grab Misty Step, and you now have, teleporting and psychic blades that leave no physical mark. And... yeah. There you go.
Here's the thing, Coffee. Pathfinder typically has more gates, like reasonable gates to the fun stuff. This does not.
Yeah, this is PHP too. Yeah, you just be a rogue, be an arcane trickster, deal nothing but psychic damage for the rest of the campaign, and because it is a throwable weapon, which as Mr. Gooseberry just pointed out, you can dual wield thrown weapons. You can throw the Shadow Blade, and if that doesn't work, you can throw a dagger.
Jesus fucking Christ. You know what what class I really wanted to work so much, but I could not make anything like super competent out of it?
What?
The Shadow Monk.
Monk.
I wanted it to work so much because the entire kit sounds really cool and it's super thematic. But guess what sucks?
But
monk.
It's a monk.
Yeah, it's a monk.
One of my favorite things about the monks is the Sun Soul monk.
What's that?
Lets you shoot Hadokens, right?
Uh-huh.
The Hadokens deal damage equal to your martial arts modifier.
Okay.
So Radiant Sunbolt, your 3rd level feature, lets you deal a d4 at range.
Okay.
So picking up an ordinary shortbow does a d6 at better range. So you can choose to deal less damage at a worse range as a class feature.
Wizards, why do you suck so much?
At 6th level, you get Searing Arc Strike, where you can spend 2 key points to cast a 1st level spell.
That's not worth it.
Burning Hands. That's exactly the thing you always want to cast, right? Everyone wants to cast fucking 3d8 fire damage.
Okay.
That's like less than your fists would do at that point?
It's never worth it. Like, why would...
No, it's never worth it. It's basically a dead level.
That's so garbage.
At
like,
11th
it's beyond
level,
garbage.
At 11th level, you get the ability to cast Fireball by spending key.
And let me guess, it's like 3?
Yeah, it's 3 key to cast Fireball, which you get at 11th level instead of 5.
Why? At that point, the fireball would be negligible on most things you're fighting unless you're just trying to do a mob sweep.
Yep. But it does radiant damage. Everyone loves radiant damage.
I guess.
So
what you're describing to me is like the on paper equivalent of like, oh boy, sucks.
Yeah, it's one of the weakest for monk subclasses and already the weakest class. Fucking 6th level feature gets you something worse than just fucking taking a single feat.
So, what would you say is the most broken multi-class ever in 5th edition?
Sore Hexadin.
Sore
Or
Hexadin.
Articron. Probably Articron, honestly.
I don't think I know what both of them do.
I was talking about Articron earlier, how it could use Magic Stone as a bonus action and then have its tiny servants make 3 attacks.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's what it is. So what's
it also has the ability to concentrate on 2 spells at once.
Okay. So what's the other one? Sore Hexadin.
2 to 6 levels of Paladin. 1 level of Hex Blade. The rest in Sorcerer.
So what's the combo you would put together?
Everything, because of Hex Blade, everything runs off of Charisma. You only need 1 stat to do all of your features.
Okay.
You have a ton of spell slots to smite with. Because Paladins can smite with any spell slots, not just Paladin spell slots.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then you can make 2 attacks to smite with them, and then quicken a green flame blade to make another 3rd smite as a bonus action that also does deal extra damage because it's a cantrip.
So essentially, it's all in favor of just nailing the strongest series of explosive melee attacks that you could possibly do.
Yes. But it's more than that as well, because it's mostly a sorcerer build.
Really?
So you could, but it has enough paladin to be able to do full attack. So you can quicken a fireball and then do a paladin full attack, just mop up the survivors and smite on those.
That's fucked up.
Or you can quicken a haste and then just start making 3 attacks. And then toss out a quicken fireball next round. It's really dumb.
So, okay.
There's dozens of different ways to build this sort of multi-class. You can have it be more focused on damage with a great sword. You can have it be more focused on defense with a sword and board. There's different sorcerer subclasses that have different upsides and downsides. But as a general rule, it's like up there with optimized wizard, because it's just like, yeah, I'm going to delete this target and then I'm going to start casting spells.
So what would you say is the strongest spell in the game?
Wish.
Just wish?
Just
well,
wish.
I mean, okay, just wish. Okay.
I mean, obviously.
So that hasn't changed.
Is there a way to make a summoner that's viable? Yes, actually, Tired Coffee Gay. The Tasha stuff added in summons that are worth using.
I didn't know that summoner was bad.
Oh, yeah, no. Most summons, like, either have terrible stats for their level, or go berserk at the end of the duration and try to kill the party.
The fuck?
Yeah, summon demons once you lose concentration on the spell, they try to murder you. Same for Elemental.
Well...
But now they've added in stuff like Summon Undead Spirit, which is just, you get a pet Warlock as a summon.
Can they use Eldritch Blast with features?
Not with, only with Agonizing Blast, but yes.
That's the one that matters!
Yes! Yes. Undead
That's fucking
Spirit.
disgusting.
Grave Bolt. Uses your spell attack modifier to hit, 150-foot range, 2d4 plus 3 plus the spell's level necrotic damage.
That's effectively having a turret.
Yeah, it's your pet turret that it just has its own turn. It just blows shit up. You know how many times it casts the Eldritch Blast?
How many times?
Half the spell's level, so up to 4, like an actual fucking Warlock.
That's so good.
Yeah, it's just, I cast a spell, pet Warlock, go.
That's disgusting. Do you get to choose what the summon like targets, or is it like DM must act as the stand-in creature?
You get to control it.
Oh, that's even better.
Yes, Richardtown spells do not cost experience anymore. Most modules don't even let you use experience, they're just designed to use milestones. But there's also like other really good spells. For like the Summon X Spirit spells are all really... How many times can you summon it? As many spell slots you have over 3rd level.
Shit.
Yeah, so at
does it have
third level,
does it have an HP threshold, or is it a duration based? summons?
It lasts for an hour, and if it takes enough damage.
Okay, so at least it has an HP threshold.
Yes, it has, assuming you're something at like level 8, it would have... Oh yeah, also its AC scales with the spell level, and so does its hit points.
Shit.
You pick it up at 3rd level, and then it's always relevant for the entire rest of the campaign.
That's really good. That's actually, like, really, really good.
It is really good.
That's effectively just having another, like, dedicated DPS player in slot.
Yes, it costs you concentration to summon it. The speed set will beef it? Unfortunately not. It's just by itself. How many can you summon at level 20? If you're an Articaron, you can start summoning 2 at level 10, and that's the cap.
That's still a lot. One is already good.
It's a party member. You cast I summon extra party member.
Jesus Christ.
Yes, and there's it's an entire series of different things that have their own upsides and downsides. Like, Summon Golem creates things that are pretty tanky and attack a lot when they get hit, which is nice. Draconic Spirit is a personal favorite of mine, though.
What does it do?
It multi-attacks of Breath Weapon plus Rend. So it's got an
plus
AoE...
Rend?
Yeah, so it does an AoE and then a 10-foot reach attack every round, can fly, can carry you. Has resistance to 5 energy types, and gives you resistance to one of them as well.
What's the access barrier?
You have to be a druid, a sorcerer, a wizard, or an eldritch knight.
At what level?
Eldritch Knights can cast from a scroll, but it's 5th level spells. I think it's 5th level spell? Yeah, it's 5th level spell, so you get it at level 11. Or not level 9, sorry. And since you can ride it, and it has a 10-foot reach, you can just have it carry you out of reach and breathe fire on stuff while you rain hellfire from the heavens.
Could you have it carry like one of like your ranged party member and just have it be like a fucking Apache helicopter?
Yes. It can also carry multiple party members.
Holy shit. Just have it lift your ranger and your warlock.
Right? Or, you, because you're the wizard and can also do range damage.
Just Jesus.
Yeah, it's basically summon Apache helicopter that has a fucking flamethrower.
That's amazing.
Yes, 30-foot cone, so you just stay 30 feet up and breathe fire down at people. It's so good.
Now have somebody do that with Simulacrum.
Oh boy. There's also the thing that I had it on my fighter wizard, right? Who is specialized in polearms, including halberds.
Okay.
So it would swoop down, fire breath, make attack. I would make an attack, then make a bonus action attack, and then we'd fly away.
Do you get flyby attacks or did they remove that for 5th edition?
Flyby and ride-by attacks are native if you have the thing use a disengage.
Okay.
But because it wasn't getting into attack range, it never had to worry about opportunity attacks to begin with, so we could just do, 3 flyby attacks and then a breath weapon.
That's
2
disgusting.
from me, 1 from... Yeah, it's fucking stupid as hell. Fly speed of 60 fucking feet, too.
That's some Infinity War bullshit.
Yeah, it's a 5th level spell. You expect it to be balanced? This is competing against shit like Wall of Force. Yeah, so they have summoning stuff even from
watch this.
Right? Yeah, they even have summoning spells at low level stuff now too, so you can just play a summoner from 3rd level onwards.
Wall of Force has always been a problem for DMs and parties, but usually the DMs aren't that much of a dick, typically.
Wall of Force is even worse than 5th edition because of the targeting rules.
What's the targeting rules?
Wall of Force is invisible, and it can only be destroyed if it's hit with a Disintegrate. Disintegrate only work on things you can see.
Oh no. There's a lot.
Yes, the one counter to Wall of Force, Disintegrate, doesn't work on it with the rules as written.
That's fucking stupid.
That's why I enjoy 5th edition so much. Yeah, someone asked a while back what my go-to system is. It's 5th edition because it's bad and I love it.
And if you ever end up hosting a game or something, let me know. I'd love to play.
Oh man. I mean, I'm gonna hit up Sheriff Dance afterwards. That sounds amazing. How to become less addicted to Twitter. Stop going to Twitter.
If you want to become less addicted to Twitter, you do what Congo did and you wipe out everybody you follow and use it purely as a tool and stick to Discord.
Mm-hmm. Or you can just set your timeline with the sparkly things on top so that it only shows you most relevant instead of the thing that's most likely to get you addicted. Fireball's being cast from a few miles away from that fucking thing, yeah. Or just get banned, yeah. That'll do it.
What I do to prevent myself from getting addicted, which I don't have a problem with putting down social media in the first place, but I always have like a safeguard, right?
Right.
I just put everybody that I feel is relevant to my life in a list. I open up TweetDeck, and there's multiple columns. I can just I can manually toggle them, and anybody I care about is in one list that I can scroll who post content that's relevant to my interests, so I can keep up with them and make sure I stay up to date with their projects. And then
I don't like Twitter, so I just don't use it.
Yeah, well, I mean,
that's my solution.
So pretty much all I do is I keep my general list separate, and I keep the other one just to people that I give a shit about, and I usually only look at one list. I spend like maybe 40 minutes a day at most, and that's just passively checking when I'm playing video games and drawing.
Yep.
And that's just social networking. That's necessary for me as my job, so I have to use it.
Same. If I didn't have to use Twitter to help grow my channel, I wouldn't. It has no appeal to me whatsoever.
Twitter is fucking abysmal.
Why am I following stuff I don't like? Because I have to follow people on Twitter to actually get them to follow me back and look at my stuff. I don't give a shit about anything on Twitter. I don't like any part of Twitter, honestly. It's just bad.
Richard, it's not a matter of following things I don't like. It's a matter of when you're trying to work on a business, you have to network with people outside of your immediate social range. So I have to follow and keep up with events and people, and also I'm keeping up with, video game news, tabletop news, nature posts. I like animals. Once in a while, I just need something to kill a few minutes when I'm out waiting for shit, or if I'm on a drive and I need something to listen to. Like, there's a bunch of different reasons to have tertiary follows.
Oh, fuck. I was just looking at the classes for 5th edition real quick and just remembered one of my favorite fighter subclasses.
What's that?
Echo Knight.
Go on.
So, at 3rd level, it gets infinite use at-will teleportation as a bonus action.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
How many times per day?
Infinite use.
Just infinite use. I thought you were fucking with me.
No, it's, only up to 30 feet. At level 3, but it's infinite use, bonus action teleports.
I'm just...
It's good! Powerful.
I, immediately covered, my hand or my mouth with my hand, and I'm just like... when you hear something so stupid, your brain immediately, tries to find an exploit to stack onto it?
Right?
That's immediately what happened.
The way it actually works is that it has a stand, right, from JoJo?
Really?
Yes, and it can swap places with it as part of its movement. It can also attack from either position.
Are there combos that can make it, stupid?
Yes! The Sentinel feat.
Oh, yeah! Yo! Wait, does my stand benefit from my feats?
Yes! Because your attacks come from either you or the stand, and if something tries to walk away from you, you can hit it with a Sentinel feat, and it can't walk away from your stand. Or you can choose to attack your stand, which you can generate infinitely as a bonus action.
What's the economic cost for swapping do you swap places with it, or...?
Swapping places is part of your movement.
No, they didn't.
They did.
Yo.
It's actually a fucking, this is almost competitive with, the average wizard on a fighter. Because you go wherever the fuck you want, unlock people, lock down people. It is an incredibly cool chess master build.
I kinda wanna pair it with a rogue. Or
you could.
A wizard.
Wizard? Why wizard?
Just for illusion magic shenanigans. Just... Here's the thing. A lot of people don't like this opinion, but I know you understand where I'm coming from because you've been playing tabletop long enough. Is that sometimes going suboptimal is the most fun way to do it, just to fuck with your DM or with the other players?
Yeah.
And, yeah, the backstabs for... Oh, that's a good question. Does the stand benefit from class features?
Not all class features, but just ones that affect your attack because you're the fighter and that's what you do.
So does it get backstab damage?
It gets sneak attack, yes. If you're
Holy
using a finesse
shit.
weapon, you could do a ranged opportunity attack from your stand and get sneak attack on it.
I'm going to bust. I want to do that.
You know what's even more fun?
What?
It's 7th level feature.
Go on.
Your stand now has a range of up to 1,000 feet, and you can still swap with it.
What?
Yeah! 1,000-foot at-will teleports. Let's go.
What the fuck?
It can go up, it can go down, it can pass through anything.
Does the stand have an HP threshold?
It has 1 hit point.
So what's preventing everything from just straight up shitting on it?
The fact that it has only the cost of regenerating your stand is 1 bonus action.
So you just gotta be smart.
Yeah, just gotta keep your bonus action open by not relying on stuff like Cunning Action, or Polearm Master, or Crossbow Expert, and you just have an infinite stand.
So essentially you just mix the purest idea of fighter rogue and you just go ham.
Yep.
That sounds like it's a lot of fun though.
Oh, yeah.
It sounds like incredible amounts of fun.
But there's an even more fun combo they can do with it too, with 3 levels of Barbarian.
Really?
Ancestral Guardian.
Fill me in.
Okay, so Ancestral Guardian, while raging, when you hit at a guy, you mark that guy, and that guy that is marked deals half damage to your allies and attacks at disadvantage, and it has to attack you instead.
What the fuck?
So you have your stand hit them, and now they have a choice between hitting your stand, which will do nothing because it has 1 hit point and your generator is a bonus action, or attacking your allies at disadvantage for half damage, and you just stay out of combat range.
I just realized something.
What's that?
Good that not only can you get it back as a bonus action, that's already really good, right?
Right.
But for an enemy to attack your stand is wasting their economy at the same time.
And you can use Sentinel to force them to do that.
That's fucked up.
Yeah!
That's really fucked up.
It's a really fucking good fighter subclass. Also, Little Lady Red wants another compliment.
Oh no. You do this one.
Got any ideas to throw at me? I don't want to do Dumpy. That's too unsay-so for me. Red, I appreciate how you constantly spend channel points in my channel. It really shows off you have excellent taste in VTubers.
There you go.
You have so many from my channel that you constantly spend. Stuff you can pull off in Necronica. I don't know anything about Necronica. I played it once. I still don't know anything about Necronica.
Is Necronica that thing about little zombie girls?
Yeah, that one.
Somebody tried to convince me into playing that. I'm like, I don't know, dog.
But the Echo Knight is it's good. It's just a straight up good subclass.
So, I don't want to get too graphic, but it's 3 hours and I've been holding back a biological function that requires...
Oh, it has been 3 hours. Wow, that's an hour longer than I normally go. Yeah, we should go find someone to raid. You have a choice? You have a preference?
Let me check who's on. Are we allowed to raid non-English tubers?
You are allowed to raid whoever you want me to raid. You are the guest, that is what you get to do. You get to choose. You get to pick.
Okay, I'm going to send you... I'm gonna send you their, There you go.
Okay. How do you summon MTM? Okay.
She's just... I'm going to be upfront and say, like, she's just a very fun personality. There's no gimmick like we have. She's just cool and very nice.
Okay. What's the raid message, though?
Welcome to the Bone Zone.
Alright.
Welcome to the Bone Zone with Jones Pogs.
Jones Pogs, not Alban Rip. Alright.
I'm here because of Stockholm Syndrome? Jesus Christ.
It's fine. It's fine. Stockholm Syndrome is good for you, don't you know?
Alright, Mr. Gooseberry wants a compliment. You got one of the hottest voices I've heard, bro. There you go.
Alright. All right, anything last to do before we head out?
No, just thank you for bringing me on. I actually had a lot of fun. I was expecting to be miserable because it's just waking up in general, not because of this stream. I hate waking up, but I actually liked being here, so both Congo and you back-to-back is probably some of the best collabs I've ever had.
Good to hear. All right, let's send these sinners out of here.